Let's not hit it.
The Love Glove.
What is a Love Glove?
It was the competitor to the Nintendo Power Glove.
Exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
I like how Phil laughs there every time. Like he laughs a little bit when he says that. And also the Love Glove was the competitor to the Nintendo Power Glove. Fun fact. We've got, we're obviously live. And I want to thank everybody for joining us, guys. If you're here, shout out to you guys for powering the show. Everyone in the comments, too. I don't say it enough, but I got to place emphasis on the guys in the comments because most people, you're talking, thousands, tens of thousands of people watch the show after the fact, and a lot of those guys are in the comments. So got to give a big shout out to those guys for being in the comments, not being able to make it live. Thank you guys. And if you're here, hit the like button, tell a buddy or two about the show, share it out. Real Deal Xbox Podcast every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We got a fantastic panel, topics, and really, really good topics this week, actually, and a good guest. It was supposed to be Randall Thor. I didn't hear from him until later. He said, hey, I can make it unless you've already got someone to fill in. I got Colt Eastwood. So we will have Rand next week, and, that'll be a great show. But this is going to be a fantastic show with Colt Eastwood, former member of the show and friend of the show, friend of all of ours. Welcome back to RDX Podcast.
Thanks for having me on. Friend of everybody here except for Zocker. Zocker, you're my mortal enemy.
It's called a nemesis, bitch. Get it right, God.
Or a rival?
Or a rival. Yeah, rival. Yeah. That's what it is. So thanks for having me. Yeah.
I wanted to use
good to be here.
I want to use some F1 footage today, but that whole file got I don't know, it didn't go out right. But me and Lethal played the hell out of some co-op career, and it was a blast. Sorry, Lethal. Shout out to Boss Mod Lethal and the other moderators as well. We've also got Fonzarelli from Fonzarelli Gaming. Hey, buddy, how you been?
I've been really good. I'm glad to be here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun tonight. We got Colt, and that's going to be awesome. It's always good to have Colt.
Facts. And big shout out to Dark CMF, who gave away a Series S last week. That was awesome, and he gave away a bunch of games and stuff. Shout out to Nine Lives, who got a Series S. Ice Cold, who gave it to him, and so many other winners. You guys are awesome. Again, Tim Dog, how you been, buddy? Another week, another podcast.
Really good. 2022 going pretty good so far. Got Colt on the show, so it's definitely going to be a good show. A lot to talk about, and it's going to be fun.
Go Dogs. Hey, Zauker. Another week, buddy. How you been, and what are you eating today?
I've been better, man. I don't know why Colt's back on the show. He's a freaking all he does is play Crackdown 3 while he's on here. So it's gonna be a shitty show. I apologize to the chat and in general for this.
Maybe if you played, maybe if you played something better, maybe,
Yeah, with a better Metacritic score, like Days Gone. Sorry. All right,
I don't know what that last part was, Chad.
I don't know either. I just did it. It came out. That's what happened. Hey, moving on.
Moby in the super chat does say, everybody get hyped for another great show with RDX crew. Everybody hit that like button. Shout out to you, Mo. Do appreciate it, man. We got some guys in the chat that are going to give away some codes, probably. They always do. I got to give a preemptive shout out to those guys as well. And I got to give a big shout out to the patrons. The scroll's up there. Obviously, if you're not there, and you should be, let me know. But big shout out to the shout out tier: Ruben, Almighty, Dave, Incubus, Ricky, Falon, Faultlines, Not Silik, Bad Boy Live, Achievement, Nano Polymath, Zordin, Costanza, KY Bob, Goose 8402, Strike, Khalifa, Assassin, Lupa, Foreign Object, Cab Queast, as well as Teo, John Blue, Deviator X, Vec Boss, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, Tastes Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cabello, All Might, Dark CMF, and Alfonso Hogan. Shout out to every single one of you guys. You're absolutely amazing. Almost as amazing as Xbox Series consoles crushing 12 million already. And, I just wanted to bring that up. We're going to come back to that. That's a record, though. And it kind of ties back into Phil's interview that we will talk about. But, hey, everyone's saying and putting doubt out there about Microsoft and what they're doing and the vision of Series S. There's so much that you can learn from this. And ultimately, it comes down to they know what the hell they're doing. They can count higher than we can. Multi-trillion-dollar company. So they got it figured out. They're doing great. I did want to jump to Sony's Days Gone developer really going off on Sony, which I found quite interesting, Fonz, because we were big fans of it. Well, fans of the game. We've said it over and over, but the guy who led the team on that game said that, hey, we sold 8 million copies of Days Gone, another million plus on Steam. We were made to feel like failures by Sony. Meanwhile, Ghost of Shiitake Mushrooms sells 8 million copies, and it's a big success. And, you know, that goes into Sean Layden also replying to that, implying that, hey, yeah, I really wanted to see more from this franchise. He was kind of really annoyed by everything that we see him with how they were treating Tsushima compared to Days Gone. Is that a Metacritic thing, or is that what's the double standard? And Fonz died.
He did die, and he just was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna tackle this one."
Go ahead, Zach.
The funny thing is about this one is that the Days Gone developer was like the director of the game, and he left Sony, and he always said that the management, not only just at Sony, but it seemed like the management at the studio made it seem like it was a failure. And then he started putting out numbers saying like, oh, 8 million sold, and then that doesn't even include the 1 to 2 million that sold on PC. So it's like a new franchise, even if it's a new franchise selling like, call it like 5 million, 6 million, that's pretty good. Because that's what people started saying, is that his numbers were off and that it was more around 5 to 6 million. But it's like at some point, like, damn, how many units do you need to sell for a game to be success?
Yeah.
Now, as for the game itself, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it ran really horrible. It had, like, you know, the big thing.
We know you hated it.
I'm saying, it had development troubles. Like that's blatantly obvious. We saw that. Everybody saw the frame rate drops. Everybody saw everything that was going on. It took a while to make the game. But at the same time, I actually tweeted about this and said I wasn't a fan, but I still saw the promise of a studio making their first big AAA game, right? Like they were making PSP games. And then they all like, boom, doubled in studio, went to like 150 members and made a game. And it was a big game that sold well. And the guy that tweeted that thing actually liked that tweet. He's like, even though I wasn't a fan of the game, he saw the potential in his own studio. He was like, yeah, man, like you got to walk before you crawl, or you got to crawl before you walk, and you got to walk before you run. And he put that out there. Like he tweeted that. So it's like, he was like, yeah, we were learning. Like that's the whole point of what we're doing. And the Sean Layden thing, I think is funny. Because Sean Layden was like, I always saw the promise in this game and the promise in the hordes and all that. And that just shows that he was the one that funded that game. He A-okayed it to be made, right? He was in charge at that point. And the changing of him to Jim Ryan, I don't think people understand how much change is going to happen at Sony because of that. I mean, they're not, you know, Days Gone studio, Sony Bend, they were afraid that they were going to become basically a support studio for Naughty Dog.
Which ultimately they did.
they did, and they got out of it. They got out of it. They were put into that for a few months, and then they pitched another game and fought to get a new game, which they're going to be making a new IP now with some of the stuff they learned from Days Gone. So I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Let me hear from Colt here, because he played the game as well. The final few hordes really gave Colt a wallop. He had a hard time with those things, and that was a cool mechanic. But Colt, your thoughts on this Sean Layden potentially go ahead and shooting the spit water at Jim Ryan's face?
I don't know. We were talking about how is this, like I asked a question to a couple of people. I asked you, is this have to do with a low Metacritic? Because it seems like PlayStation has like a quality standard. If you don't meet it, they're going to give them a hard time. But yeah, you kind of shot that down yesterday. The game did perform well. Maybe it didn't sell 8 million, but I would think this guy that ran the studio knew what he was talking about. And we like the game.
Say why would we? Why? I mean, I get what you were saying, right? But then I was like, well, they made Knack 2, and Knack 1 was in the 50s. They
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was your reasoning. Yeah, I love that.
You know, they had a ton of games that didn't rate the best. People act like all their games are bangers, but they had a ton of games in the 70s, even the 60s, like The Order and stuff like that. You know, I don't know. I don't know if that's the cause or not. Chat, let us know. But yeah, go ahead, Colt.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, because there are those low-rated games, and this is a big one. And it's almost like it was a black eye, you know, it got a 71 or 72 meta, and it's sitting there on the list. Like, it doesn't stand up in the upper echelons of what PlayStation put out in that generation. And I don't know, like Days Gone is really like an Uncharted style game. Like they try to emulate that feeling of what Naughty Dog can do with a zombie game. And it kind of checked all the right, check marks, but
I don't know about that. I don't know about that Metacritic thing, man, because Gran Turismo Sports is 75.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what Dealer said. And I was like, oh, dang, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's not the Metacritic. So that's why we're asking the question, Zocker, right? Because we're like, the game sold really well, and people liked it.
I think it's the development problems they had. I mean, it was blatantly obviously with the frame rates, everything that happened. The game was not ready when it launched, and they delayed that game like a year and a half, 2 years.
It's
And they had
almost 2
plenty-
years of delay. Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
replied in the comment section yesterday, and I didn't know that, but yeah, it did see some.
Well,
some
they
delays.
showed it. They showed it like 3 years before it came out, so that it had multiple delays.
I-
And then even when it launches, it doesn't perform that well. But with that said, I do have to say that they've patched it. It works fine now on the PS5. It runs at 60, right? And when you play it, and that is single-handedly the best PC port Sony has done. Like it is.
So
Like, it's
I mean,
really
I
well
originally
done.
came to Fonz with this, but he wasn't here. I mean, I thought this topic was interesting, and I want to say, I guess Fonz, are you dead?
No, I'm here.
Okay. I don't know if you want to really contribute much to this, but I do want to give a shout out to everybody who watched this live, guys. If you haven't, considering the like button, all that good stuff, help us out. We do appreciate it. Well, there's a lot of really good topics today. Big shout out to Hargeet, by the way, who does say Xbox sales within striking distance of PS5, despite taking systems for xCloud. That's another really good point. xCloud and all their server blades did actually take up a lot of that silicon. He did say pump out those Series S consoles. Obviously, we've discussed with the silicon difference there. But yeah, definitely. He'll be dropping a Far Cry 6 code later, by the way. So shout out to Hargeet for dropping Far Cry 6 in the chat. And I want to hear from Fonz on this as well. Days Gone, the developer, all of the thoughts regarding the sales and the double standard seemingly between this and Ghost of Tsushima.
I heard that those sales figures were kind of skewed. That it wasn't really 8 million for Days Gone, because Days Gone, he was taking the figures from like user engagement, and that game has went to PSN as well. So PSN Plus, PS Plus, excuse me. So I think that those numbers aren't really correct, because I remember reading an article last year that said something like they had they sold like 4 million copies or something at the time. Remember they were calling
But
it
there's
like
been like a couple Black Fridays and I mean.
Yeah, I don't think they sold 8 million. I really don't.
Oh, you think he's actually lying about that?
I think that he just doesn't have the numbers correct. There has been 8 million users engaged in the game, but again, PS Plus has had it. There's been, I'm sure, a lot of people downloaded it for free there. So yeah, I don't believe in the 8 million sold, but if it were 8 million, then yeah, there would be a discrepancy here, and it's like, why are they championing one game over another if they both sold well? It doesn't make sense.
But like 5 million sold is a success, isn't it?
According to-
yeah.
not
Guess it
according to
depends.
Sony. It depends.
It's the well, I've heard it was at one time, at the time of Quantum Break, it was the over-under for how to make money for a single-player game. Since then, it's been about 5 to 7 million. I think they're within that range for this game. And you also have to counter that's a new IP, so as this goes to Tsushima, but it's a new IP, and that is very impressive, to be honest.
It really is, Tim. That's a good point. It's a new IP. And I got to give a shout out to Joaquim, who I just laughed because he says, whenever I hear the Rated M game trailer for the UK, Peggy 18, it always makes me think it's Caveman is telling me how old his daughter is. Just off the wall. Shout out to him. Purple Haze, by the way. Shout out to him. $10 Super J says, hey, panel, help me out. I just bought a brand new LG OLED C1. Wanted to know, do you guys know what are the best settings to set this TV up? Good for it's that's a process that would take 10, 20 minutes to go through in Flash and go through each SDR, HDR, and all that stuff, man. But maybe hit one of us up, hit D-Batch up on Twitter, or that's what I always say. By the way, D-Batch isn't here. D-Batch isn't here, but he'll be here next week, man. Shout out to D-Batch. We miss him already. What were you gonna say, Soccer?
I'll just say, wasn't it, like, kind of going back to that topic, wasn't it that when Days Gone released, do you remember, like, there was posts talking about it being the best selling new IP that they've had? Like, wasn't it like one of the top?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Yeah, wasn't it
right
like one of the and this game released after Horizon Zero Dawn?
Days Gone was the best-selling PS4 exclusive on PSN in 2019 and made the top 10 best-selling digital games of the year. and that was in January of 2020. 2 years
Look at
ago.
that. Yeah. So that's and if this one was bad, imagine how bad freaking Death Stranding was. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
No, I know that. Yeah.
Why you got to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
so toxic for?
Dude, Death Stranding was on sale for $13 on PC. Like literally, and I was talking to Colt
It's
about
because
it.
you guys will just pirate it if you don't buy it.
I mean, that game was pirating. I'm just saying.
That's fired.
Hey, Sinchi, by the way, he says, I want Rand best part of Tuesdays. Whoop whoop. Oh, and don't let Zalka
Oh no,
read.
let me read that one.
Okay, go
Let
ahead.
me read it. I can't find it now.
Okay.
Fucking left.
He
I
said,
didn't
don't
read
let Zalka read my super chats. He says, if not you, dealer, I want Tim Dog to read them. Love the show. Love y'all. That's fucked up. That's fucked up, Sinchi. Thank
Don't
you,
put
though.
any more out there, Senshi. I'm getting them, bro. Don't put them any.
Sinchi, you do what you want to do, all right? Gaz, by the way, remember for 24 months, you just say delay Halo crackhead snorting hot sauce. And then we've also got
Happy birthday to Gaz, by the way.
Yeah, message Gaz. Tell
Happy
him happy
birthday!
Happy birthday.
Jeez.
You want to get some of these, Knocker? That might help me out while I can gear some other things
Yeah,
up
yeah.
here.
So then we have Bright Tundra. He says 11 months member. Hey, panel and chat. Just want to give y'all a shout. You guys are amazing and make my Wednesdays in Aussie really awesome. Here's to another year, RDX. The man's from the future.
Ooh wee.
Does Xbox finally have games in the future?
I think it does. I think it has too many games.
I know, dude. It has so many. I'm dying. Dark CMF. I just totally choked, bro. Dark CMF. Happy birthday, Gaz. Happy birthday, buddy. Gaz is such a good dude.
Gosh.
I love that guy. Hargeet. The games that were allowed to continue were under Sean Layden. Jim dance moves. Ryan doesn't do low meta scores.
Oh, shit.
Smiley face.
That's a lie from hell.
I want to see Jim Ryan dance now. I don't know about everybody else. I want to see him dance.
Yeah,
like
his Fruity Pebbles have mold on them. Fonz is still waiting. Fonz isn't here, by the way. I guess he waited till the show to dial in his audio.
That makes sense, right? Thanks, Fonz. You can't do that. Then we got Reluctant Dodo. Longtime fan and great to see Colt here. Great show yesterday, Colt and Dealer. Dream team.
Ooh wee.
I dream of them too. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta make everything awkward.
I do miss being on here and hearing Tim just yell and wake up his entire family when things get crazy.
He wakes up my damn neighbors, not just his family. Dude yells.
Yeah, shout out to
Before the
Reluctant,
show,
Reluctant Dodo. Tim Dog, Forza Horizon 5 happened to hit 15 million. Not one, not two, not three, but 15 million active players right now. What's going on with that? How are Xbox is cheating, huh? They lying.
Yeah, really impressive. I mean, they were at 2 million, I think, pre-launch. So that's all paying extra customers. So people who say Xbox don't buy games, it's obviously not true. Listen, we haven't gotten numbers on Halo right now, and I do believe Halo. I think Halo had more of an effect because December, I heard, actually blew out in November. But as far as a game and how well it's selling, I'm interested to see, where they both land, because Forza Horizon took that step from being, in the shadows of the Halos and, the big heavy hitters, and it's now in that same category. And just props to Playground. I don't know what their developmental schedule is, if it's going to be 2 or 3 years, but the 3 years I'm thinking is probably the best way to go, because with that 3 years, and you pointed this out, Dealer, many times, they really did a lot of things they needed to do. They could do more for sure, but they nailed it. It is the most polished, arguably the best game of 2021. Mine was Halo, but it was, you can't argue with the quality of Forza. I played it the other day, and I'm still, the mist, and I'm playing one of the events, and I'm through a monsoon, and I'm absolutely floored at the graphics. It's just great to see. It's now in the relevancy of Halo and Xbox's top franchises. And just kudos to the Playground team. 15 million is at this short of a interval is absolutely absurd.
And it's impossible at this stage without something like Game Pass. It just is. It speaks to the power of something like Game Pass, and now it's going to reshape what we kind of come to see as normal. Greg E3X says 15 million, fair play. Yes, sir. Bill Prominencer has the eyeball emojis. He's probably looking for his copy of Days Gone just to cuddle it after all that bad news. And obviously, we got a ton of other people in the chat. Just want to say hi to these guys. They power the show. Over 900 watching. Already, guys, hit the like button, tell a buddy or two, and share it out. We do appreciate it, guys. We got a lot of great topics. Cody's with 15 million players. That's almost as many views as we've all gotten in our whole lives.
I didn't know where you're gonna.
I didn't.
I was like, where is he going with this one?
Yeah,
I was getting scared for a minute. Yeah, I mean, I'm still playing it. I just saw a clip yesterday, dealer. This Event Lab stuff is like the silent cartographer. The people are making like these Hot Wheels tracks basically with ramps and half pipes, and they're making their own races. And I remember telling you the other day that like I just played the wheels off of Horizon 5 through preview and the review period, and then like I blasted through it faster than any other one. But there's this Event Lab stuff that's going to really power the game for a long time, and Tim's right on that 3-year development cycle. That's really going to pay off. So I'm excited to actually get a chance to try some of those races people are making with boost ramps and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's good. 15 million, man, for a racing game.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it is. It's
And that's a short amount of time.
It's well, I mean, it's not just
in 2 months,
it's not just the 15 million. Like if you look at all the stats, like right, because the end of the year, a bunch of stats came out for Xbox, a bunch of stats came out for like PC, everywhere, and the top games, like the top like 5 new games that came out, a lot of them were Xbox games. Like if you look at like what Steam reported and Valve, like top selling games, they're in the platinum, what they called it, the platinum rank, which was the best selling games, new games of the year, was all there, including Back 4 Blood, which funny enough is on Game Pass day and date. So all that narrative of Game Pass isn't going to sell or Game Pass is going to do this just got murdered in 1 year. Like everything just got taken out. Like they every narrative just got demolished. I mean, even Age of Empires was up there. And the funny thing is Halo Infinite was up there, and it only had, I think it was 7 days to get on the list because they stopped it at December 15th, and Halo released on the 8th. And it was still, Halo was still in the platinum of sold games.
That's crazy.
So, like, that's insane.
Why do you think they're not mentioning, and I mentioned this in my last video, but why do you think they're not mentioning Halo's, their players right now? Like they did with Horizon and some other games. Why do you think that is with Halo? I'm not insinuating that it hasn't hit great numbers because by all accounts, everyone's played the hell out of this game for the most part. Where are those announcements of those kind of numbers at, Zalker?
I don't see. The thing is with Halo is I think they had their hype with the multiplayer, and that's what they're going to focus on. I think they want like the multiplayer, the league games, all that. I don't know about the numbers. Maybe it hasn't hit the targeted things they want. I mean, Forza, Horizon has become one of the, if not the biggest game that Xbox has. It's outdoing Gears in number wise. It's probably outdoing Halo at this point. Like Forza Horizon is a massive game, and it's very appealing to everybody. Mm-hmm. So hitting 15 million is insane, and that's and in just 2 months. So maybe that's what they want to concentrate on. But if you remember during even the stats that were reported across all platforms, Halo multiplayer was still one of the biggest, like, top played games. It was in that platinum thing again. It's one of the most played games of the year, and that's with games that are like 2 years old, or all the multiplayer games like Call of Duty. And it only had a month to get on that list. So it's like I don't know why they're not reporting the numbers. Maybe it isn't as good as people think, but from what I've seen in every chart they're in, they're top, right? They're up there. Halo's up there.
Yeah, I mean,
including Age of Empires, which I have to keep saying is kind of surprising. I was always looking forward to it because it's a strategy game. But holy cow, man! Like for that game to be in the top sold,
Gee Willikers.
Insane.
Well, that's probably why it's been greenlit to go to console. So
apparently it's already in the preview, right, Tim? Like, I think that's already been spotted.
Yeah, it's been the console version has been spotted. Multiple people have seen like screenshots of it, have talked about it. So it's I wouldn't be surprised if
I wonder if I message Xbox PR, how you would kind of get your hands on something like that. But I mean, we all knew it was coming. Tim, I said it on Colt's show yesterday. You were pretty much the first person that I heard saying this is 100%. Like they're trying to get it sooner than even Gears Tactics. And this would hold true if the case. So I'd like to get a hold of this. I'm a big RTS fan. I just want to play them on console, and I don't think I'm alone. I'm sure there's some of you in the comments, but yeah. Speaking of, Fallen Order is the game you're seeing on screen. Jedi Fallen Order. Fuck you, Ashtray. It's a great game. Every single time, I can't get that message to play it. Xbox Series X. Play this game. It's amazing. The sequel is supposed to come out this year as well. That's
end of this year, yeah.
That's gonna be big, Zaki.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I think we played this together in like a party, right? Like we were always just going through it, talking about what planet we're on, what are we doing.
Yeah,
man?
during my second
So
playthrough,
good.
I was definitely in a party a lot of it. But yeah, I mean, the first time through, I was busy talking to this little robot, which is, by the way, one of the best characters in a game in quite some time. That can't even talk. You know, this little
This is twice they've done that.
little droid.
BT from Titanfall 2 is really great, and then this little robot from the Respawn again. Yeah,
Definitely.
it's awesome.
But I am looking forward to that a lot, actually.
Phase 23 has a super about this game, I think.
Go ahead.
He says, what improvements would you guys like to see for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2? Dealer, so you've played through the game twice. Like, what is it that you got to see change or improved in the sequel?
I just enjoy almost every single thing about this game quite a bit. There's nothing that instantly comes to mind other than you could expand it and make it more of a slightly less linear game by implementing, you know, some really kind of worthwhile force powers. Yeah, definitely. There's some
more
cooler,
graphical, cool looking force powers. Like I get you had the
more
push and the
graphical
pull.
force powers,
like something that looks fucking cool, man.
like
you
ripping
know,
a tree up and
graphics
just
4K.
ripping a tree up
like
and just.
like you know, if some dude's shooting lightning at you, you can catch it, right? You're not the one shooting it. Like you fight more Sith. Like that's for me.
Well,
Like
yeah.
this game is like a 9, bro. This game's like one of my top games.
Or like story element type stuff where they introduce some
Yeah,
of that stuff.
like you know the end. If you haven't beaten this, get over it. But you know the end when Darth Vader's chasing you and like he's using all the Force. Like
Oh,
that
jeez,
shit-
Zucker's going right for
Well,
it.
that was the coolest. That was the coolest Darth Vader scene I've seen anywhere, including the movies.
it was so good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, seriously though, you guys have to see it. If you didn't get to the end, it's really fucking cool. It looks phenomenal on the consoles, and I would like to see maybe even the introduction of some kind of side quests and stuff. You know, you're on these planets. You can go to these planets. You know, make some worthwhile side content even. But that's only me thinking of things that I would just think of to improve the game. Like the game is really well done. Stig from God of War 3, the creative director of that game, did such a great job with this, and you just can't stop praising Fallen Order. I think it's extremely underrated. But we do have to go to the next topic. If you want to get a super to do this, Coulter Zauker, that'd be great.
Can I point on Halo?
Yeah.
Just to, I listen. I had asked about Halo, and my answer was that it's did absolutely really good, and that expect numbers soon, and they will report on them.
What do you think
didn't
they are?
happen.
And 343 just got out of Christmas break like this
Right.
Monday.
But
So-
I could tell you this, that Halo had, I believe, more of an effect than Forza did. And like I said, because the numbers on December are pretty crooked, meaning they're really good, they're really high, and probably part of the reason why they hit that 12 million. I'm hearing that John Welfare is reporting that they possibly had 1 million in December in just NPD, which tracks North America, which is huge. Usually, typically, November is the month that takes the lion's share because it has all the games, it has Black Friday, but in this case, Xbox had a strong November, but they had an absolutely absurd December. And I have to attribute that to Halo. I think Halo is a household name, and maybe a lot of people got it on Game Pass because they bought the console for it, and Game Pass obviously. But I think Halo's done very good, but it is kind of curious why they haven't said the numbers.
I'm sure it'll do. I'm very, very confident that it will do pretty good. It's almost impossible for it not to.
Yeah, the December was killer, man. Xbox did really, like the UK, they're talking about it, that the only thing that sold better was the Switch. And another thing that was kind of funny is that the shortage supply hurt Sony so bad that apparently PS4 sold more than PS5 last year.
Well,
Like,
that's
crazy.
cool, but we got to give a shout out to Hargy. He just gave away that code for Far Cry, by the way. Far Cry 6. If you guys haven't played it, definitely play this game. Ashtray, by the way, is giving a shout out to Hargy for giving that code away as well. And we forgot Lord Starkiller. Shout out to him, man. One of the coolest names in the whole chat. Microsoft is much more competitive this generation. Of course. Did you already read this one, Soccer? I don't think so. Which, of course, gives Jim Ryan and there is 2 or 1 sales difference between PS5 and Series XS. Happy birthday to Gaz. Good to have Colt on RDX. Shout out to you, Lord Starkiller. Do appreciate it, man. And again, Hargeet giving away a Far Cry 6. Space Nova King. Can't wait for Fable. None of us can, man. I need to see Fable, Colt Eastwood.
We need to walk, hold hands with the dog and walk down the cobblestone road.
In Fable 4, you can hold hands with dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, Fonz is back.
Fonz is back.
It's hold.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Where did you go? You're on the Panda Express?
I had to reset some stuff, man. Like I couldn't even hear myself. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, it was just all bad.
About time you got your shit together.
Anyways, so a lot of good news for Microsoft, right? Lots of great news for them, and I feel like a lot of this is attributed to Game Pass, of course. I think that's why you're seeing all those sales that you were talking about earlier with the S and X consoles and stuff. I think Game Pass has a lot to do with it.
And make sure you wish Gaz a happy birthday, Fonz.
No, I will not. I will do that privately, sir. No, I'm just kidding. Happy birthday, Gaz.
Well, that's kind of weird. You know what's not weird, though, Fonz?
Yeah, what's up?
Colt's got a rash he was telling us all about behind the scenes, and he said that basically it's from holding a hand with the dog in Fable 4. That's a reference to his show.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, I was on Colt's show yesterday, and we had a fun talking about that. But shout out to almost 1,100 people already watching this, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't. This is Fallen Order on Series X. Fonz is finally back. We can continue the damn show. We halted everything for him.
Yeah, and, you just stopped everything. Yeah, that's what I heard.
I just had to stop.
We were talking about biscuits and gravy for about an hour and a half.
I said, what would Fonz want us to talk about right now? Biscuits and gravy, and we talked about it.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm with that. Biscuits and gravy. That's good. That sounds awesome.
Do you know what else we could talk about, though?
What else?
Cliffy B just shitting on just another LED's face, and
what happened there?
Basically, dudes on Twitter are comparing Doom Eternal to Last of Us 2 because now Microsoft owns one and not the other. When 6 months ago they were saying Doom Eternal is better. I don't care which one you think is better, but like even Cliffy saw this and he said, this shit is cringy. Why are people comparing Doom to Last of Us? I think it's obviously just, they can't control they need a Twitter like. That's the only thing they do. It's the only platform they've ever had at any kind to get any likes. So they got to basically do this shit. Yeah.
It's going to get worse, bro. It's going to get so much worse.
You think so?
Starfield dude, it's going to get bad. Like, because you got to think about it. When Starfield releases, it's going to smack people in the face. And then when id Tech brings out their next game, like, it's just like, these are, like, people don't understand how big Bethesda is, man. They're bringing out 3 big AAA games this year. Ghostwire Tokyo, Redfall, and Starfield. Like,
and Deathloop again.
Oh, and Deathloop again to, Xbox in September. And
Bethesda and Xbox Series are both trending on Twitter right now. Soccer. Keep going.
Thanks for that.
Keep talking soccer.
Thanks. Why are you on Twitter and not with the podcast? Be in the moment, Colt. God damn it.
Be in the moment.
Bitch ass Colt.
Bitch ass Colt.
BAC.
Hey, Yo Donnie, by the way, says Go Dogs is his new Colt. He says, paint me yellow. And I'm moving to Springfield because I'm Simpson. This is a weird one, Yo Donnie. But he does say that Go Dogs is a new Colt, and he's going to be bottoms up. That's what he says.
He's going to be a Simpsons character. The
Kool-Aid bottoms up. So Yo Donnie's on right now. He's on some Kool-Aid, and we all love it. But yeah, I mean, hey, I want to go ahead and move to the next topic here. It's been a interesting one talking about Days Gone, Forza Horizon, Halo numbers. Tim Dog admitted that, his favorite animal is the ostrich for some reason. Ubisoft Plus is coming to Xbox, Tim Dog. I thought this was kind of weird messaging because they did it while announcing one of those games coming to Game Pass. a lot of retractions from a lot of websites out there, YouTubers, include myself, which I make fun of myself in the video.
Myself in as well. And
So explain the situation and how it actually, because they came back, they didn't say it in the initial post, but they said it in a reply because there was so much confusion. They were like, no, it's a separate service like EA Play, but we're announcing that it's coming to Xbox, and it all starts now with Extraction and Game Pass day and date, which makes nothing to do with it and makes no sense. But yeah, it was stupid. It was weird messaging.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
I personally, I think that the Ubisoft Twitter account kind of jumped the gun, and they weren't really supposed to announce the Ubisoft Plus coming to Xbox, because they first said them and the Xbox account kind of teased about Extraction, which was fine, and we all liked that, and everything was cool. But then they basically said Ubisoft is coming to Xbox. We will have more information in the future. Now, for guys like me, you, many people who have heard through the behind the channel scenes, Xbox is getting Ubisoft to go into Game Pass. So that was the immediate thing that I thought about. I was like, holy shit, it's going to Game Pass. And I did start tweeting and starting that, and then they clarified it with another tweet saying, no, it's coming as a separate service. But I do think that because of all the whispers that we've heard, and many people have heard from many people, I mean, this was talked about outwardly on other shows too, that it was a rumor. So I think that people just assumed, it's going to come to Game Pass, and it might come to Game Pass Ultimate at a later date, or maybe in a reformed plan, because I was like, it's crazy. It's crazy because I had people like, oh, it's no big deal in my DMs downplaying it, and I'm looking and I'm like, this thing's $17.99 for the Extreme, or $15 a month just for this. I'm like, there's no way this is really happening. And sure enough, it's going to come to the service. Xbox is as a paid service for Ubisoft, but I do think that it does kind of open the door for things in the future.
Yeah.
Especially if they tier their gaming, meaning they offer like a $5 $5 subscription model, and that one I could see making its way into Game Pass.
I want to throw this to Fonz in a second, but I brought this up on Cold Show yesterday. Yeah, it's $15 for all the Ubisoft games, all the DLC, right?
Yep.
But think about the platform holder, Microsoft. They've already made a deal with EA. EA had far more games out at the time, I do believe. I think they've got a better price on EA Access when they are producing games, and they're not fucking it up like Battlefield. But Microsoft can say, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars, bring in the base version of Ubisoft Plus, and we'll also cut you in lesser percentages on every version or every copy of your game sold inside of a Game Pass. Instead of 30, we'll take 20 or whatever, right? Replace whatever numbers you like. Then we'll take percent XYZ less on each microtransaction and DLC you sell while you're in here as well. There are ways that they can easily make this happen, and from all accounts, this is going to be something that Microsoft at least attempt heavily and get both EA Play and Ubisoft Plus in Game Pass in some way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't be surprised to kind of hear it, in the next year, maybe. I don't know how long do you think that would take? I wanted to kind of hear from Fonz, but Zucker, I'll ask you that. How long do you think it would take if it does happen for Ubisoft Plus to get into Game Pass?
I think it's going to take, I think it might happen by summer, maybe an E3 thing, but I have a feeling it's going to happen at the end of the year. I think the big holdup is what they're avoiding right now, which is Xbox wants to make everything, console and PC, the same. And I think they, just like EA Play, what you're talking about, those aren't day and date games, but they are, like, you get a lot of games on like EA with your console, and it wasn't on PC until 6 months later. and that
And
caused a lot
Ubisoft
of
don't have to do
confusion.
day and date. Ubisoft Plus can have a
Well, no,
library.
Ubisoft Plus is day and date.
But
That's what
they can make
$14.99.
another tier for like on Game Pass to have Far Cry 6 in there right now, and several months after launch. There's
Yeah,
ways
yeah.
they
I
can
mean,
work with
I
this.
think they could change it, but I think the thing that's going to be doing it is if they get Ubisoft Plus on there, they're going to want it to work on the Xbox store on PC also.
Yeah.
And then not to mention have it work on the
Yes.
Game Pass store on console also. So it's like you're going to get all this stuff because they want it parity, right? They want it the same exact thing on console and PC. So that's why it's going to take longer. That might be the main holdup because that's a lot of, even Ubisoft Plus, I'm subscribed to it on PC. It's a freaking awesome service.
Yeah.
But again, they have their own launcher. They have their own achievements on there. So I think they're going to try to connect everything together and work with Ubisoft to get that. I think Extraction, and they've had Rainbow Six Siege and The Division on there. I think Extraction's a pretty good testing hub because they have their own subscription service. Why would they put their games in another one? It's because they know how many people are on Game Pass.
It's because they know that money can be made. And
Yeah, well,
that's
money
the
can be
perfect
made
point. Why would
users.
you subscribe to Ubisoft Plus when you can get it on Game Pass or vice versa? It's because somebody or both people are making a lot of money. Fonz, what are your thoughts on this? And two, we should highlight Rainbow Six Extraction is day and date, January 20th. I think that's a positive that did come out of the announcement.
Oh, yeah.
I would have to say that there would have to be a lot of compromise for both companies. And I don't think that a company like Ubisoft would be willing to make such compromise, especially when they're the potential of what they can make, the profits they can make on console would be freaking huge at $15 a month. I know what you're saying. Where if they can try to offset some of that by trying to maybe make a lower tier or something and have a different thing be
Percentages and all that.
placed into Game Pass or the percentages with the microtransactions. Yeah, that kind of stuff could work. But are they willing to put a lower tier in Game Pass? I don't know. They could do that and at the same time have their $15 a month service on Xbox as well. That could be done. But as far as this full-fledged service in Game Pass, I don't see that happening. It's just way too expensive, man. The way too much money there that they would be giving up. Because if you look at it, a lot of people compare it to the EA Access thing. That was, if you broke that down, that was $2.40 something a month. That's completely different.
But Game Pass was
you
also
heard
a
what dealer
fraction
said
of the
about-
subscribers. At the time they made that deal. So
Yeah.
the more subscribers
Yeah.
Game Pass has, the more alluring that is, the more they can offer. But I get what you're saying, Fonz. And
I
chat,
would get what you're saying. I would get what you're saying, Fonz. But the thing with me is that putting Rainbow Extraction in there is the big caveat, right? Like if they're talking about celebrating Ubisoft Plus coming, they're like, hey, you're going to get all these games. Your next big AAA game is coming to Game Pass anyways.
which makes me
So
not want to
I
get
think-
Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah, exactly. So
But-
it deters. It looks like it's pushing people towards that because
Yeah,
they
but it's not
understand that there's
everything.
way more people.
It's one game. It's like with any other developer or publisher that puts a game within Game Pass. It's one game.
It's a weird announcement though, Fonz, because Ubisoft
can-
Plus's sole purpose is to give
Well,
you
if
that
you
day and
think about-
date, and they're
it's
like,
not
hey, it's in
weird.
Game Pass.
Yeah, it's not weird because I look at it like this. A game like Rainbow Six Extraction is a game that is going to be heavily pushed within Game Pass. A lot of people are going to play it there. You'll probably get more players in Game Pass than you would have if you just,
But that's the logic
sold it
with
on
all of
console.
that's with all their games though. They're going to get more on Game Pass.
True. But at the same time, there's also a lot of, some people like to call them one and dones within Ubisoft. It's not all this kind of, multiplayer game where people are going to be playing it for a while, buying a lot of microtransactions, that sort of thing. It works for Game Pass. It fits Game Pass really well.
I get what you're saying.
I feel like it's just a lot of money, man. $15 a month is a lot of money for a company to say, you know what, just throw it in Game Pass. We don't care about that $15 a month from potential millions of subscribers.
That's
So.
true, but I think
it's-
they're all, and I want to hear from Colt here in a second, but I think they're all weighing the odds, and they're saying, Microsoft, you want to give us $100 million for 6 months, for a year? I mean, Microsoft
so here's
have
the thing.
$1 billion+
Yeah, they
set
do.
aside for this kind
They
of
do,
stuff.
but let's break it down. Let's do a little simple math. let's say they have 25 million subscribers in Game Pass right now, and they put this service in there. And let's say Microsoft decides to give them, a few bucks a month or whatever for, this service, or, in total, if they pay them out, a substantial amount. All they would have to make really, Ubisoft is get like 3+ million subscribers to hit that, to
you know
make
what you're
more
not
than-
factoring in though?
What's that?
Those games sell more when they're in Game Pass.
I know we
It's
hear
been
a lot
said
of that,
over and
but
over and over. It's
I
backed by
know we
developer
hear a
after
lot of
developer.
that, but can you give me some examples of which games have sold more because they're in Game
I
Pass?
mean,
Like-
Microsoft management has said it. Publishers have said it.
Back for Blood developer even said that they wouldn't
Yeah.
be near
They-
the 6 to 7 million people if it wasn't for Game Pass.
Well, that's
Yeah.
users, but we're talking about sell through.
No, and they were one of the top selling.
MLB
games.
The Show was another one. I mean, there has been
Yeah, I'm not discounting
nothing
that.
saying anything other than it does increase revenue and spending as well as purchases sell through. Gears 5 crushed Gears 4 in a matter of months because of, and that was sales, according to Phil, because of Game Pass. It's free marketing.
Yeah, the only way I see this going into Game Pass is if they create a lower tier and not all their day and date, not all their games go day and date. That's the only way.
Not to mention,
we will see.
they're bringing Siege, their biggest game of all, that has over 7
and
million
Microsoft
people
paid for
into
that.
there.
They
Well, no, I'm
paid
just
for that.
saying
That's
they're
a
still
separate
putting that
deal.
in there.
Yeah. He's
They're
just,
still putting it in.
bringing up. He's just bringing up the fact that money
know,
talks.
but- Yeah, it's a completely separate deal though. Just like with anything else they put into Game Pass, Microsoft has paid for it handsomely. So
Oh, and Outriders too. Outriders is another
yeah,
one.
they paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they pay for everything that goes in there.
Yeah, they pay for everything. We're not saying
Yeah,
they're not
of
getting
course,
it for
of
free.
course. But I'm saying, but they'd have to pay for a lot for every single Ubisoft game and DLC and season pass. That's a lot of money, bro.
We know that.
That's a
Yeah,
lot of money.
you understand how committed Microsoft is to this?
Yeah. Oh no, I know. But see, the thing is if you get something like this in there, then I'd start to, worry about Game Pass prices rising.
Well, then, I mean, just wait until the shit happens for you worry. Like,
Yeah. But
there's no point wasting your time worrying.
Like,
Stalker, help me rattle off a few of these supers, and I want Colt's opinion on this. But Danny Passion does say Vincent from HD TV Test has a great, he's got an awesome video on the C1.
yeah, he's awesome.
The sub super sampling chroma can't do it right now. Fuck you, Fonzarelli. Also
Yes,
shout out
that's what he
to
says.
Astray. We've got a few more. Zachary, you want to rattle some of these off?
The farthest I could go back is Freddie Chavez. He says Halo Infinite is my first Halo ever, and it became my favorite game. It still needs work on PC, but overall, I'm just having fun, dude. It's really good. You should really go back and play the Master Chief Collection too. Like those games are still so good, especially when they're.
I'll get this one. That's the one higher, and that's the only one that is up higher. Disappointed that Big Team Battle in Halo only has 3 maps. Yeah, that's a good point, brother. Definitely they'll be adding. Ashtray also says big thanks to Hargeet for the Far Cry 6 Ultimate Code in chat. But go ahead, Zucker.
Yeah, we got GSD getting stuff done. He says, "Love you, dealer." Bobcat Gold weight of streaming. Okay.
That's
yeah.
Go Dogs.
We got Reluctant Dodo. Go Dogs. We got Dark CMF has Colt tried Biryani yet? If not, he should in honor of Gaz.
Yes, it's amazing. Yes, tried biryani.
What is that, like a personal lubricant?
Yeah, well, you can use it that way if you'd like, but yeah,
Perfect.
it's a really tasty rice and chicken and that. It was really
Nobody needs lubricant for Gaz. Face 23 says February is the happy birthday, Gaz. February is the new November. So many games coming out in February. Which game will get the most mind share and best critical reception? All I know is I'm spending 500 hours in Dying Light.
Fucking Dying Light.
Dude,
Go ahead. Just
savage.
get these last few and we'll move forward.
Yeah, let me go down. Sorry, I had to, guys. We got Ham Solo. I want Game Pass Family before I get Ubisoft Plus.
Uh-huh.
You could game share. You could game share Game Pass across consoles. Like I share with my girl, she gets everything.
I think he's talking about like if you got like 12 kids and you're kind of fucked. You're like $700 a month at Game Pass. I get what you're saying. They do need a Tim. I think you spoke on this, and we do got to come back to Colt. Don't let me forget with the Ubisoft stuff. But Tim spoke on a Game Pass family thing that he would like to see as well, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Game Pass family, yay or nay?
Oh, I would love to see that. I haven't heard anything about that in a long time. The last I heard about family anything was with their DRM deal. But yeah, if they had a something like that, it'd be really good. But I haven't heard anything of that nature.
Well, hopefully. Zach will go and get these last few, and we'll come back to Colt.
Yeah. King Destruction, first time in a while chatting or catching RDX, always helps me get through the long night shift. Glad to see Colt back where he belongs. Go doggies.
Go doggies.
And then we got Hargeet. What's up, Hargeet? Numbers work way better for Ubisoft Plus going into Game Pass. They aren't going to get 15 million subs at $15 a month. If they double the current 1 million subs they have, it's 360 million a year. Game Pass could be 500 to 600 million at $2 a sub.
Oh, shit.
So
Nice.
Hargeet did some fucking math, busted out his freaking TI-89 calculator and got shit done.
TI-82.
I like it. Dude.
Go
He's a
ahead.
TI-83 plus, Zocker. The 89 was
TI
the troglodytes.
Mine got
TI-89
the
for the
solar
engineers.
panel on it, so the batteries don't really matter.
You're in a dark classroom, it dies.
Darren Till.
We got Darnell Hill. He says Xbox said they wanted a AAA game every 3 months. Ubisoft will help them reach that goal.
Ooh.
I mean, that's actually not that bad of an idea.
Until their games start to
January.
hit.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Well, you look at January, bro. Like, remember we were talking about, like, yeah, there's going to be last minute deals. Literally the first week coming back from the new year. Here's Rainbow Six Extraction, bitch. It's like, all right, cool.
They
you want
said
to
it
get
just
the
like
last
that.
one?
Here's Rainbow Six Extraction, bitch. Yep.
We got Ultra Watts. Do you guys know of any unannounced games coming to Game Pass in 2022? Maybe Persona 5. I honestly, man, there's gonna be a lot. I think they're gonna bring something out like almost every month at this point. It's getting to that point where
Yeah.
since July, since
Persona.
it's been
Absolutely crazy.
it's since June, like literally June, July, August, everything. There's been something last minute or just announced, just coming out. Like something's always dropped in there. Like that's just what's gonna happen. Like even random games, like those strategy games, like whatever. Like they just get so many games out there. So keep an eye on it. We got Brian Hopkins just had some chicken biryani for lunch. Biryani lubricates your insides in the best of ways. I
Oh my god!
I felt utterly disgusting reading that, but I like it.
No, you didn't, Zocker.
I didn't. I felt at home. Angel
Zocker
Castillo
just texted me a thumbs up emoji.
With the brown tip.
Yeah, I was about to say. God damn it!
What the?
Angel Castillo. Let's talk about Halo. They need to fix some stuff.
They need to fix some
Maybe
stuff.
that's
Hey,
why.
Microsoft, fix some shit. Fix everything. Fix it all. There you go, Angel. Shout out to you, brother.
Got it. We got you, bro. And then we got Purple Haze. What is Game Pass share or what Zalker was saying? You can, Game Share. Like, set your console to home. You can share with somebody and share all your games with them and all the games they own with you. Game Share.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
witchcraft.
game sharing. You can access. I don't even remember what we were talking about before.
And
Zocker
shout out
went.
to Toonsies the
Ubisoft.
cat, the official sponsor of RDX. Toonsies the cat. Meow. Go pet your cats today. Orval's remote control can openers. Proud sponsor of RDX podcast.
Manscaped.
Bob's
for-
Emporium's
for the-
Rubber Band.
Bob's
Yeah.
Rubber Band Emporium. Cold Eastwood, Ubisoft Plus, Rainbow Six, Tooth Extraction, January 20th. Game Pass. Not Game Pass. It's coming later, but Rainbow Six is here. What are your thoughts on this? And, what do you think it says for the future of Game Pass?
I think it says that Ubisoft is definitely wanting to test the performance of their games in Game Pass and bring more people to Ubisoft Plus by eventually working out, like, because you explained it really well. And I know Fonz is like, it's too expensive. And I thought the same thing. But when you explain, and your chat kind of lit up when you said it, dealer, when you explain leveraging profit margins, changing profit margins, cutting things here, like you can make more money on your games on the Xbox if you sign with us through Game Pass, because Game Pass isn't able to make a ton of money on its own. Game Pass is extremely successful because it is inside of, the cafeteria tray with all the little tiny portions of different things. And Xbox can make money off of, like, Game Pass is the brownie in the corner, but they're making more money off the hamburger.
That crusty ass brownie with a toenail in it. Ugh. I remember that little brownie in the corner
with the toenail, which was
toenail
nice.
first.
It would pick the food out your teeth while you're eating it. But like people they try to look at Game Pass in a vacuum. And they're like, how could it make money? And Phil always like slaps the hand away from his wallet. Like, quit looking at my pocket. Like, we got this. We're making money on Xbox Live Gold. We're making money on every multi-plat. We're making money on our exclusives. We're making money on microtransactions. We're making money on consoles and everything. Like, they're making money everywhere. And you work all these things together and everything starts to make money. And if what you're saying is true, which is like the best idea ever, if you just start striking deals, like we'll make it worth your while to come to Game Pass. You'll get way more people on your service. People will be buying games and spending more money on microtransactions when they're playing the games in the service. And I think it really is possible for them to bring a 15, I can't remember how much it is a month. If you paid per month, let's just say to bring a $15 a month service into Game Pass without raising the price, I really think it's possible if they're leveraging those deals, and Ubisoft would be happy to take it.
Ooh-wee. Chat, what do you think? Ubisoft, Xbox Game Pass, Ubisoft Plus, Rainbow Six Extraction. We didn't even talk about the game, really. I mean, I'm going to play it. I was not interested in this game a week ago, Zucker, and now I'm going to play it day one. I plan on playing it.
I had a plan. I was going to play it all weekend with my buddies. We were looking forward to it because we really like Rainbow Six Siege. I have like 200-300 hours in Siege. And to me, it's not even, I don't even think it's a test anymore. I think they just see the value.
I forgot to mention something, Zucker.
But no, I was going to say, I don't even think it's a test anymore because of, you look at Division, I think they got an influx there. I think they already did their test. Ubisoft saw the value. And for them to put Siege, which again is their biggest game, into PC also, it's already in Game Pass, by the way, for console. But it's going to be coming to PC the same day Extraction does. So they're obviously tying their network with Xbox. Like that's what they're going to do. It's going to be, they're integrating it together much like EA did. And so I think that the whole test thing is over. I think that they're just going to kind of ride with it. It's not just the sales to me. It's not like, oh, this game's going to get sales. It's all about microtransaction. It's all about user base. It's all about those things.
And to Microsoft, they're going to pay X amount of dollars, right, to get eventually Ubisoft Plus into Game Pass, because everybody's going to be like, holy crap, I got to get Game Pass. It's not like they're just going to pay Ubisoft a bunch of money and not get a massive influx in revenue every month from Game Pass. It's not like it just exists in a vacuum here. So that's why they wouldn't mind paying hundreds of millions of dollars potentially for something like this, because you go from, let's say they're 30 to 32 million in a matter of 6 months or way less even. I mean, that's tons of money every month they weren't getting before that pays dividends later on because of the, Ubisoft coming on through. So I don't know. I like
Ubisoft's the only publisher with Ubisoft Connect and Ubisoft Plus where you can play your game, Assassin's Creed or whatever you're playing, on PC. And if you own it on Xbox, you can play there and pick up where you left off, just like Game Pass, just like Xbox. They're the only ones. With EA, if you're playing Apex Legends or whatever the hell you're playing, if you play it on PC, then you go on console, it's different. You have different stuff. It's connected differently. So it's obvious that Xbox is working with them because they want to make everything equal across all platforms. And so why not work with the people that are doing it just as good as you are?
Well, I'd like to know from the chat, are you looking forward to playing Rainbow Six Extraction? We'll be playing it January 20th, day and date on Game Pass. Just jump in and download it, man. And that alone has made people subscribe to Game Pass. That one announcement has increased that user number that's going to give you $10 a month. I think it all feeds into itself perfectly. xCloud ties into all that. We will see how it goes, but let us know if you're going to be playing Rainbow Six, especially guys in the comments watching after the fact. Shout out to you guys. Let us know your thoughts on that. But Ubisoft Plus coming as a separate service as of right now.
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say, even as is, it's a big W for both companies. Really big.
And it will eventually come to PlayStation. Ubisoft Plus will come to PlayStation as a service you can subscribe to.
Yeah, it'll take a little while, just like EA Play did. The EA Play took forever, right?
I think they're going to get it there much faster than EA Play did, but yeah. Definitely. Take-Two, by the way, buys Zynga. Just want to throw this out there as further proof that Take-Two don't really believe in creating games anymore. They just want to cash in on the mobile trash market. They make Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead and what else? I mean, they used to make so many games, Fonz. They used to publish so many games.
They made Grand Theft Auto, the definitive edition, a mobile game, essentially, or a bunch of mobile games.
And a broken mobile game.
So, yeah, they're trash. But, I don't know what's going on with Rockstar lately, man. It really does seem that way, that they are just trying to cash in and
it's not Rockstar.
Zynga. Yeah.
You mean Take-Two?
I mean, Take-Two. Sorry. Take-Two. But yeah, I just don't really understand what what they're trying to do here, other than just make that money. And I get it, you got to make money in this industry, but damn, like make sure that your games that you're putting out there are decent quality. I wish they would push like Rockstar to come out with GTA 6 already, but they're milking that whole GTA.
They're
5
selling the
cash
60
cow.
frames patch to you,
and they're getting we're about to. Didn't Grand Theft Auto 5, wasn't that supposed to come out last year, like holiday?
6.
Like
like
Oh
Yeah.
end of the year.
it was
Which
like
one?
a remaster or something, like something stupid. But anyways, yeah, they're just gonna keep pushing like the Grand Theft Auto 5 thing. That they still keep coming up with new DLC for it, and I'm like, really, like, man, people stop playing it. Let's move on.
I mean, it's one of the most popular games. Like
I
I said,
know,
those
dude.
numbers that were put out there, Grand Theft Auto is up there with one of the biggest played game, like with the most.
Yeah, I saw a
active
guy.
users.
You know what? It made me laugh. I saw a guy online on YouTube, and basically his whole channel is around him pretending to be a real cop in GTA 5 and pulling people over and stuff. That's all he does. And then he knows all the damn streets and everything. He's like, I'm on Vinewood. Yeah, he calls it in when he pulls them over, tells them, the license plate and everything. I'm like, what the? Like, this dude is like living a life in Grand Theft Auto 5.
And the real reason
This
he
is
couldn't
why
be a
we
real
can't
cop
have
in real
Grand
life
Theft-
is he was a mall flasher.
This is why we can't
We
have
need an all
GTA
points
6.
bulletin on finding me a girlfriend. Over.
Yep.
Oh
and,
my
and it's so weird, dude. And like people will comply, pull over, jump out, try to fight him or shoot him or whatever. Anyways, this is why we can't have GTA 6 people. People like that are living within GTA 5. It's insane.
leave Robert alone. I'm sure that's his name. Robert.
Like Cornelius is probably his name.
Cornelius, whatever his name is, leave him alone. You let him be a cop.
Hated name.
Let him do whatever he wants to do. At the end of the day, like, I'm ready for another Rockstar game. They used to publish games factually. They used to publish far more games, and now they're just publishing and making less. And Strauss Zelnick is one of the causes of the problem. We're not microtransacting them enough, is one of his quotes. That's nuts to me.
Crazy.
Well, there
insane.
isn't the next GTA like apparently in like development hell. Like,
I don't know, but
the
it's not
problem.
run
Like,
with
that
the
was rumor.
development hell
Hey,
shit. Like,
Zucker.
somebody on Twitter was talking about how State of Decay was in State of Decay. That was in development hell, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, this game is trying to do and find a new direction and maintain and exceed its own quality, which it needs to do, all while trying to look substantially better on Unreal Engine 5, have a whole host of new animations, new mechanics, like me and Colt were talking about last night. Animals are affected in the game now. You got a deer on PCP chasing you through the woods now. It's, they're doing a lot of new things, and their team is over doubled in size. And just because you haven't heard or seen gameplay, you saw a trailer a year ago. Just because you ain't seen gameplay yet doesn't mean it's in development hell. That's dumb shit. Like, try to be more positive. Try to be more positive about this game instead of just running out there starting rumors that it's in development hell, because no one fucking
they
knows.
Opened a whole studio. They opened a whole studio that they're running in Orlando to
Yeah.
help with animations, and then that's going to actually even help the whole entire, Xbox game studio.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, and I covered it in my last
consider
video.
the
But yeah,
source.
I mean,
Always consider the source. Listen, I mean, I talked to Dealer about this, and I said, you know what? I said, let's even say that State of Decay 3 and Everwild are in development. now.
Everwild, I would buy though, Tim. Like that's
Right? No, Everwild. Yeah,
You know,
the
where
problem
there's
with
smoke, there's
Everwild.
fire. You can't.
There's no fucking smoke with State of Decay 3. There's none.
Okay, so where did this come from?
A fucking random YouTuber on Twitter.
A random YouTuber just said,
That-
"Hey, it's in development hell," and everybody.
That's
ran with
literally
it.
what happened, Fonz.
Wow.
Just like
Yes, people.
just like Final Fantasy being exclusive to PlayStation, WCCF came up with a fucking opinion piece
I know.
saying that
I
they
saw
think it's going to
that.
be exclusive to PlayStation, and everybody
Yeah.
fucking ran with it.
Yeah,
It was an
that's
opinion
crazy.
piece, guys.
Yeah, people have to really,
You, dude, it's
I
exclusive.
mean,
Oh,
that's especially since from the rumor that I heard about State of Decay was basically the same person that said, "Wait 2 weeks and you hear about the huge acquisition for Xbox."
and it never happened.
So listen, it never happened. So listen, you got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. But even if that were the case, even what I'm saying, to just put on paper and look at what Xbox has announced already and what's in development, and then you talk about all these projects that are confirmed to be pretty much legitimate, especially when you have Joe Neat going out there screaming about it, about how everything's being spoiled. But you could say that there's roughly 7 to 12 unannounced games that are in development or in the being process of being pitched or pre-development or full-on development. You have about I mean, you just look at the games.
It's like
There
20
are
plus
so
studios.
many games.
All right, so-
Yeah, you have so many games. So if you do have a studio that is struggling, it just means that they're going to need more time. But they're not in a position now where they desperately need a Halo to hit or something like that. They're in a position where they can actually say, take your time and get it right and fix
Yeah.
it. But I haven't heard anything of the sort. I could tell you that I know that Phil's a big fan of State of Decay, and that he does have lofty, expectations for it.
And we're not saying that it can't come out and be a 74 meta. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're saying that right now they're trying to change things up, do things. That's like saying God of War, is in development hell because they went and did a new approach to God of War 2018. It's like, no, this shit takes time to figure out. And with State of Decay, they want to take that franchise a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, so you could see that just by pointing to they're using the Unreal Engine 5.
Yep.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal for a studio like that.
Yeah.
And listen, I just think that you got to calm down and at the point, if you're gonna say something like that, like have at least a solid, concrete, thing that you can point to, because it just creates a situation where it's kind of unfair to the developer.
I agree with you, Tim. Okay, so if it's the person I think it is, I know he knows people there, but I don't know why you would say something like that, even if you knew anything about it. Like, why even mention something like that? So vague and
in a
just
negative light.
let
right?
it run. You can't do that, and especially when you don't have the source, you don't have any kind of. You can't quote the source or anything. It's not a good thing to do.
Bonds, where's the
Not a good
soundboard at?
Oh, it's here. It's here. I haven't been using it. Just chilling.
What the fuck?
But no, seriously though, I get, like, I don't understand why some people do this. They run with certain things that even if they have any knowledge on, they can't really tell you anything anyway. So why even run with it at all? Just stay quiet. Sit back.
Middle Lemon says, who even gave a date? And that's a fact. Nobody gave a date about the game. They showed a trailer off. They're taking their time to figure shit out. Cody Sword, what are your thoughts on State of Dismay 3?
I mean, you and I kind of covered this in our videos on Monday morning, but
I did not.
Oh, you did not. Okay. Well, I mean, I covered a lot about the development of it, and I don't know. When somebody says something like, I'm hearing this, I've fallen prey to this, where you want to break news or kind of hint to people so they can kind of hear something that they wouldn't hear in normal channels. And this is just one of those things, like when you hear bad news, like that the Halo graphics are not improved. Like that was something that I reported on that I heard, and I got burned on it because the game came out and turned out to be really nice looking. So
yeah,
this is so hard to talk about, but I called one of my friends that knows somebody that worked and led the State of Decay team. And I said, look, I don't believe this fear and uncertainty and doubt about State of Decay. And I'm about to make a video and I want to know how you're feeling on this. And they said that it's in good hands. That when the guy left to be with his family, he left to go to the South to be with his family there and to start doing his work there and not be halfway across the country. And he said he spent a lot of time making sure everything's good, and all those teams at Undead Labs have worked together on this game. So like there are really great things going on. And right now they're just working out big plans and seeing where they're going. And they're keeping some of the developers busy updating and improving State of Decay 2 while they get things ironed out. And like I told Zocker and you guys, like, as soon as we heard this news, I'm like, doesn't every studio go through development hell when they're first getting
Yeah,
going? Like,
really.
everybody has to kind of like
Yeah.
get the kinks out and like iron things out and kind of work out, you know, this is what we want to do. And some people are in this team are like, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Let's see if we can do this
That's not
instead, or let's see if
development
that
hell,
works.
The only
Development
thing-
hell
the
is
only
Duke,
thing I'd
Nuke,
say
Duke
is the favorite
Nukem, or what is it? Nukem Forever.
Duke
That's
Nukem
development
Forever.
hell. There's plenty of examples of development hell, but that's
Halo
not development hell.
Infinite.
That's a period of innovation and kind of restructuring your tooling. They're doubling the size of their employees, right? That's not development hell. That's
I find
investment.
it funny that a lot of the games people are talking about development hell are those games from that E3 show in the middle of the pandemic. So it was like, do you
Yep.
remember they brought out that E3 show where they showed, you know, the bad Halo and all that and blah blah blah, and it was all digital, and people just every game that's been announced there, people are trying to say, oh, it's in trouble, right? Like it's almost to the point where we know for a fact that you can see it last year. Xbox Game Studios really showed out last year. That's what they did. They came out, they kicked ass. And we've always said 2022 is going to be about Bethesda's games. Look how many games they're bringing out that are exclusive, and they're massive. The year after, it's going to be Xbox Game Studios again. Like, that's what people are not understanding. They just want to throw it under this moniker of development hell because they saw what happened to Halo, and then now Halo's dropping, and it's highly rated and loved.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it and you're like, well, what the hell's going on? I thought this was development hell. I thought it's like, yeah, Halo did have some problems in development. That's no secret. Yet it still came out and it kicked ass.
Right.
Just because they're struggling with something, just because they're working on something and maybe expanding it, and maybe they did go to Xbox and be like, hey, we have this ambitious thing that we want to do. We need an extra year and a half. Like, they'll
That's
give
right.
it to them. After what happened with Halo, Xbox and Microsoft are going to keep doing that. They're going to give people time because they have the ability to give them time because they have so many damn
They
studios.
have so many pieces of pie now.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
so there you
hey,
go.
Fonzarelli, did you see this messaging? You can probably just let your soundboard answer.
Yeah, what's up?
You see this messaging from Dying Light? They said the game is going to take 500 hours to beat. People are like, what the fuck?
Oh, my
What they
God.
say?
I even questioned
They said
that. I
you
was
can
like,
walk
what are
from
they talking
Wisconsin
about?
to Louisiana and the time it takes to beat Dying Light 2. Lying Light 2. What is it?
Yeah.
Lie.
What is the deal with
Dude,
this?
Shadow Warrior murdered them, bro.
Well, that's what I didn't understand, and that's what I was asking in our chat that we had going about it. I was like, how is it 500 hours? What? How can this be?
It's
like,
not.
I've never look. I've played games where I've gotten well over that, but they're multiplayer games or something like that, like Destiny. I've put thousands of hours into. So, yeah. But for a single player game, I think the most I've ever put into a single player game is probably maybe close to 300 hours. And that's because I did a lot of world building, like base building and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what you could possibly
I want to
do
explain
in this
what they
game.
did, right? They said they came out and said 500. They said in the time that you walk from Kentucky to California, was some two places that it sounded extremely boring, horrible marketing there, but it would take 500 hours to be Dying Light, the same as walking from here to here. Then they came
Yeah,
out after
that's
everybody
weird.
was like, what the fuck's going on? Then they came out with a graph. Somebody got bored and they said, all right, here. If you want to beat the game, it's 20 hours. All right, if you just want to run through the game, because I was just telling Lethal and them in the party, I'm like, 500, this game is 40 hours. I'm going to play this game for 40 hours. I'm going to beat the side stuff, do all that 40 hours. They said, all right, 20 hours. And then if you do side stuff, it'll be like 80 hours. I'm still saying 40 to 50. And then if you do everything, you find every single little dog hair and every little bird and every note and the janitor from Arby's who, escaped with 3 pigeons, you got to find him. That's all the dumb shit they're talking about. The stuff you don't want to do in most all games.
Well, let
That's
me
500
ask
hours.
you this. What kind? Okay, so Xbox Obi in the chat said that he put in 300 hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I could see you doing, right? That type of game. But
Dying Light is not
couldn't
nearly
play.
as big as Assassin's Creed
Yeah,
Odyssey.
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I couldn't play Dying Light, but it didn't look huge. So
I mean, it's fun, and it's not meant to be in a Witcher 3 competitor in that regard, right?
yeah,
But I'm really excited for Dying Light 2.
dude, you're gonna have to stomp out all the cockroaches. There's gonna be like some weird stuff. Find all the
Find Water Egg 32's
food
YouTube
or
channel.
whatever.
You know,
I don't know.
to their credit, like 500 hours is stupid. They should have never done. Like that's
Yeah, they
just
shouldn't
bad
have said
marketing.
that.
They should have just been like, hey, it's gonna be our biggest game ever. Some bullshit, right?
Well, somebody
PR
said it
talk.
was like you
It's
could
huge.
replay the game multiple times to get different to do different side quests different ways. So they probably thought, okay, we have 27 side quests.
That's bad marketing.
You can do them two different ways. Each one takes you this. And they crunched all the numbers. They're like, wow, it's 500 hours. And the marketing guy goes, I'm going to make a tweet.
And then a guy like sitting there playing it is like, I just beat it in 37 hours. It was great. You know, I mean, Colt, they said 500 hours. It's really going to be around 40 to 50 hours with side missions and stuff like that, having fun with your friends.
More than I put in Crackdown 3.
That's way more than I intended. We covered this yesterday. It's way more than I intended. I'm not asking for 500 hours. I don't want 500 hours. I want 40 to 50 hours of quality stuff that I can do. I don't want to waste my fucking time finding pigeons or notes or whatever the hell the side crap would be to 500 hours. But I'm really excited for Dying Light 2. I just played Dying Light 1.
I think it's going to be a pretty massive game. They've shown like stuff where you can do something with some factions, completely change the aspect of the map.
You can get certain perks if you decide to work with
like you could change like entire sections of the map if you decide to partner with something else. Like there's a lot of stuff in there. I think they're very ambitious. They've had 7 years to make this game. So
basically, if you make a choice, though, Zucker, if you make a choice and you decide to go left or right, it changes a building for you. That's what you're talking about.
The funny thing is that one dumb tweet, like that's such a dumbass tweet. Like the 500 hours, like what are you doing, man? Like you guys had so much goodwill. Like they delayed it, and people were like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because we want to."
They still got
a complete game.
They still got goodwill.
Yeah,
they could have worded it differently because you have so many. You have games that listen. I know for a fact there are people playing Halo for 500 hours just on the single player. So it is possible, and the way gamers game, just the way gamers game in general, that 500 number is not really a big number. I know people have had.
I mean, I could let the shit sit in the menu all day and get 1,000 hours. Like that's not what we're talking about.
But I just think that listen. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, it is a lot, but you could just say you could just keep playing a game over and over and over. I don't know. I just don't think it's that outrageous of a comment. I think it's more, they should have thought of that out a little bit better, but I just don't see they're just being overly positive about the game. And I do think that the replayability is going to be absolutely very high for the game.
They didn't mention replayability. They said basically to beat the game.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
So it's not a big deal. Like, it's not like the game's going to be worse or they've done anything wrong. It was just dumb and weird. I would say that I don't want to stick on this too long because it's not really
they should have just said that it's a massive game, something along those
Don't even
lines,
say shit. Let it come out and let people be surprised by what they're seeing. Like, that's word of mouth.
The thing is that when you put a number,
true, but
and it's a high number like that, people then will just they'll just go after you because it's kind of an absurd number, and it's just the way that the people are, the way they just go after stuff like that. But for me, I kind of didn't think it was that bad, or I kind of felt bad that the developer had to backtrack and how to it was kind of funny even how like they
made a little graph.
They kind of like really put the tail between the legs and at least they did that. So I don't think you really should just draw anything other than that, or draw any conclusions other than maybe just a stupid thing that they said.
I think they're a little excited because the game's finally coming out next month on the 3rd. I've got it. Like, I'm ready to go, right? I'm excited for it. I think you guys should be as well. Let us know if you plan on playing it. Shadow Warrior 3 said you can beat Shadow Warrior 3. It's 500 hours. You beat it 50 times. Like, there were even other companies making fun of this and having fun with it. It's not a negative on the game or the team. I think they have goodwill at heart here, especially with their comment on who would make you pay for a frame rate patch, stuff like that. So, I mean, it was weird marketing. That's all. But Zucker, can you grab some of these super chats here, and then we can kind of move on to our next topic here while I get this wrangled in?
Yeah, give me a second. Somebody say something. I got it. Gamebread said, there is a guy who's a retired police officer who does that stuff. Good for him. But we do need a new GTA game, lol, not a garbage remaster / upgrade. We went back on that one. That was a while ago. Holy shit. We got Space Dovakin. He says, what's up with that Unreal Engine specialized team they're building in Orlando? Is that a SOD effort or more of an Xbox Game Studios collective? It is an Xbox Game Studios. It's both. They're going to be, I think their first project is doing the SOD, so State of Decay. And then they're going to be expanding into the Xbox Game Studios. They're going to be a pretty busy studio, and they're getting very talented people there. Like
There's a
people
lot
with,
of guys
Yeah, the
reporting
best
on
part-
that don't understand anything about that, and they just think of it as a State of Decay thing. But you guys know who to stick with on this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's
and
definitely an
the
Xbox
best
Game Studio thing.
news. Yeah, the best news of that Ontario studio in Florida is that State of Decay needs some help with like advancing animations. Like everyone always calls State of Decay, jank with the game. The game's great, but just imagine more fluid animations. And they got that guy from that led EA and EA Sports for 17 years, dealer. So you can like do your little like pipe dream of wondering like what kind of animation improvements could come to State of
That
Decay
will trickle down
based
to
on what they've done.
that will trickle down to all
What's
Unreal
that?
5 games, right? So I kind of put Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport in my last video and compared them and said, look, what happens if Turn 10 doesn't send all these cars, all this information, data, parts, everything to Playground? They all have to develop these things separately. And they're not going to do this kind of stuff where they don't have to do it anymore. Now that they have this arsenal of studios, this animation studio will contribute to just an entire library of things that all of their teams can use across Unreal Engine 5. And that's really what they're going for here. So, Zachary, go ahead and hit the next one, brother, and we can move on.
Yeah, Splendifer says, damn it, Fonz, in my butthead voice, use the soundboard. All right. We got Faisal 007. He says, I hope State of Decay 3 will have done narrative elements to make is special. Is there any news about fighting games on Xbox?
We covered some leaks on some job hirings like a week or two ago. So check out that show, brother.
Yeah. Like 3 weeks ago, there was a lot of people talking about some Warner Brothers guy and a bunch of stuff there. We got Yodani. He says, let's not forget they hired Unreal Engine 5 animation experts.
Ooh.
I mean, the funny thing is Coalition are those experts. We got Dark's CMF. He says, quick shout out to Spooky Sprocket, still pulling and praying for you, brother.
Shout out to Spooky, a longtime supporter of the show. We've talked to him on Twitter. Fonz did a show even. He's apparently in the hospital. So everybody wish Spooky Sprocket well, and hit him up on Twitter if you can.
Yep. Get well, man. We got Lord Starkiller. I have confidence Undead Labs will deliver a great game. Also looking forward to Xbox Game Studios being able to use UE5 across multiple studios. I mean, there's a lot of studios using UE5 in Xbox. I think they're the publisher that's using it most.
Did you see that tweet where someone said that PlayStation 5 had the most UE5 games in the works and that UE5 was made with PS5 in mind? I don't remember who put it up, but do you speak on that for 4 seconds?
Some forced creature. Motherfuckers need to quit typing because it's literally the opposite of what they say. And the Unreal Engine was famously touted as being the most scalable Unreal Engine built for everything from the high-end PC to mobile. So, again, it's the same people that said the demos and stuff were only possible on PS5. Same motherfuckers that got everything wrong. So, again, Zalker, go ahead and continue if there's any more there.
Yeah, we got Don Otaku. I guess I was the only one excited about 500 hours. I put 500 plus hours into Breath of the Wild with one playthrough for the DLC. If the gameplay is fun enough, I'll do as much content as I can. You know, Don, I kind of agree to that. But again, there's so many games coming out that I think the longer a game is, like, it's just going to mess things up. Unless it's a game like, so an example is like Suicide Squad or Gotham Knights or Starfield, right? Like, those are games I am ultra excited for. Like, I want to play them. I'm going to put as many hours as it takes to get the satisfactory I want from them. But there's so many other games I don't want to miss out and talk to people about that sometimes longer games just
Well, I mean, that's why you don't have to even go into a bunch of detail because you can play anything as long or as little as you want, right? So if somebody wants to spend 70 hours or 5 hours or an hour, most people won't get past 10 hours. Then they can, right?
Yeah.
And let them do it. But yeah, shout out to you, Don.
We got Lord Starkiller again. Have about 300 hours in Skyrim. Such a great game. Dude, I have so many hours in that game. That thing is stupid. You could do so much. Kirby Louise says 40 to 50 hours main story, 300 hours post game, 400 to 500 hours post game DLC is the only correct way to do it.
Ooh-wee. Shout out to Kirby and shout out to 1,200 people watching this live, guys. If you haven't, hit the like button. Let's get closer to 1,000 people watching, hitting the like button for the end of the show. We do appreciate it. You guys power the show, make it what it is, guys. Thank you very much. And shout out to all the support. We got another one from Chinook Guy. You want to get that one real quick and we move on?
Oh yeah, it just popped up. I'm going to offer a bet sometime in the future. Xbox will create a new studio for something in the future. Could be a fighting game studio. Could be something else. That is the most vague freaking thing. Studio for something. They're making it. Put a bet down. Put it down, boys.
Shout out to Chinook Guy, man. Hey, Chinook Guy, fly us all to E3 when it's back in session, because in 2022, it's not going to be there. Just wanted to throw that out there. We're not surprised. Hey, better luck next year, but, hey, it's all digital this year. It'll be happening.
That's sad, bro. Like
it
we
is.
We were all talking about it. Like Colt and me were talking. Everybody. We were all talking about like going down there this year.
I wasn't going to go down. It's a fucking band. I said this on Colt Show. I'm not going to Los Angeles to experience that city for the first time and all of its atrocities and, the positive things for the first time during a damn pandemic. Like, I want to experience things when things are kind of closer to normal or ish, right? I don't want to go there and fucking trash bags flowing across the streets and all this shit.
When every year passes, like when E3 2021 passed, you're like, oh, in a year from now, hopefully everything will be better.
I plan on going the year the pandemic broke out, man.
Dang.
I plan on going.
Nothing is getting better, man. Nothing's better. I was at the grocery store today, and the shelves are still like almost half empty. Like, come on, man.
You should have went to Aldi's, bitch.
The world.
It's just hoping and dreaming, right? We just wanted it to come. We wanted everything to get better so we could come back. That was the point. Yeah.
Well, Colt, I want you to lead this next topic here. Bill Spencer is talking about Xbox Series consoles and how there were more units than ever available, but they couldn't meet demand even still. And that does, he also confirmed that it was the best-selling. Huh?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
He also confirmed that it was the best-selling Xbox up to this point in any Xbox's life cycle. A year and some later, no Xbox has done better, and this is during a global chip shortage and a general shortage of most things electronic. I mean, it's to the point. Forte said that you could sell a PS4 Pro and a One X for like $300 at GameStop right now. That's nuts.
Swap it over for. I mean, you can just go get a Series S. You could take your 3 or 4 year old console in and get a Series S out the door.
That's how in demand gaming is, right?
The crazy thing about what you said, when I kind of started to interrupt you, I was kind of going to accent what you said, because Phil said, which is kind of unbelievable, is like our supply is really high, but demand is still outstripping supply. And it's so weird because, dealer, isn't this Xbox console the one that you don't need because every game's on your beast PC?
Hey,
you don't need it because you could play it on your freaking Nokia.
That's
you
true.
can play it on your Ninja blender.
Let me give a shout out to Sheep Among Us. Sheep Among Ghosts real quick. He says dealer thinks everything will be normal. Sheep, look, man, it's very important to take the whole statement, and this is part of the problem on the internet. I said if things will get back to when things are more back to normal, at least a little bit more back to normal.
You didn't even say.
I never said it would be back to normal,
no.
At least as we know it or knew it years ago. Okay, so please, Sheep Among Goats, please take me for my word. And when I say that, I just appreciate you for watching the show. Pillbox Gaming's in the chat, by the way. Shout out to him, man. He fell off, he died, he came back to life. Shout out to him, but Colt, you're right. Phil did say that. It's a time where you don't need an Xbox. You can get, play games anywhere, and they're still doing great.
Yeah, and Z Huge thinks that their best guesstimate is that Xbox has shipped 12 million consoles. Do the math and take a guess how many Series S's are sitting on shelves throughout the global retail. Probably not that many. So Xbox has sold well over 10 or 11 million, probably. Who knows? But the thing that the media was running with was, it's pretty crazy that the gap between the Series S and X is not that far from the PS5. PS5 could be as high as 17 million. Xbox could be as high as 12 million sold. But I don't know. It's just, it's so crazy. And I was trying to make that point that everyone's like, you don't need an Xbox, but like the demand is unreal. And you were talking last night, dealer, about how someone might go in to buy a PS5 and they see that little $300 Series S and they take it home and it blows their mind because games are loading up in a snap. There's quick resume. They're getting 60 FPS on almost every brand new release. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Well, you can't. So I actually I read a lot about this today. When I was reading it, they said that the Sony is actually having a worse time with the chip shortages because their estimates for March 2022 was 22 million units for the fiscal year.
Right.
That's what they were hoping to ship. They revised their forecast downward to only 15 million units shipped by March 2022. So now they're hoping for April, around there, the fiscal year that starts in April, to put out 22.6 million units, but factories and manufacturing partners are super skeptical that they're going to be able to reach that. So that's something that's kind of funny, is that the Series S, kind of like this bright light for Xbox, that, hey, we could make more of these and also get the Xbox Series X out there. And I know people want, they're saying, oh, it's the chip shortage, but when you look at it, they've sold more Xbox Series X's, or shipped more, than they have in any generation. So they're making just as many consoles, if not more, than what they did in the Xbox 360, which people consider as the golden age, or the Xbox One era. So that's kind of insane. It shows just how much people want these consoles. Like the games, I think the games are the big teller, right? Like, I get it's the price, the power, all that, the hype behind them. But I think people are starting to see these games, and the Game Awards, like I said, showed off a lot of next-gen games that you were like, holy shit, I need a console. Like, that was the big one. So, and it's not just them, it's obviously video cards and all that, but man, like Xbox is utterly dominating the sales charts right now. Like they're catching up. Like they're already saying it in multiple articles that they're closing the gap between Sony and them.
We'll see. We'll see, so.
Well, I mean,
you
there's
look
no,
down at your little tiny soapbox.
I did.
You're just preaching a good word.
It's about 6 inches.
Hey, you know what else is 6 inches? Donnie. Shout out to Timmy's leaving. We've also got Timmy. We got shout out to Timmy. Donald Duck. Been a long time. Kirby Louise, only on Xbox. We've got so many guys in the chat. The Game Builder. Shout out to you, brother. As well as so many others, including our good friend Cold Eastwood, Brian Harris, who does say, I'm so happy with my Series S. I have no complaints with it. I love this show more than I love my whole family. I just made the last part up. But he really does like the Series S quite a bit, and he's actually quite surprised by it.
I got to say something, because we were talking today about, it was like, no, you can't say something.
Go ahead.
Because you and I were talking about the trade-in last night, and Brian Harris said, I just bought the Series S, and I love it, but GameStop has an $800 bundle where you get a Series X and an extra controller and a game and something else to make it $800. He's like, oh, it's not really worth it. And I said to him, you know what? I would assume, and maybe you can back me up on this, dealer, that if he took his Series S down that he just bought like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, if he could probably get $300 right back for it, wouldn't you think?
I say maybe, just keep the damn thing, enjoy the games.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I
don't know.
You're going to drop it on the ground on the way into the store, and it's going to break,
He said he's actually having so much fun with the S that he'll use it until the summer if something else comes out and he can get an X. But we were talking about how the One X and the PS4 Pro have a $300 trade-in, like, right off at GameStop. Like, wouldn't the Series S, if you took it in and say, hey, I want to trade this in, they'd probably give you exactly what you paid for it. I would assume
it's all based on supply and demand, right? So since they're not making the old consoles anymore, they're not getting new shipments of those things. That's why they're giving you $200 plus $300 for that. So you might get a similar amount, you might get more or less, but at the end of the day, just enjoy your console, man. I'm glad you got one, Brian, seriously. And hopefully, you can enjoy that to the max. Bonzarelli's son just got one, and now resents Bonzarelli for getting him a piece of shit that doesn't, can't render games.
So. He's like, why couldn't you get me a Series X, Dad? You're a piece of crap. No, he loves it. He loves it. Series S is awesome. Yeah, I messed around with it a little bit too, and it's a great little capable machine. That's what I'll say about it. It's really good.
Hey, shout out to Boba Fett Gaming and Ashtray Gaming, as well as Hargeet, and who else were we in the party with last night? Forte. We had a bunch of people in the party, just tired of shit and just having fun, man. So shout out to all you guys. Definitely. Shout out to Kirby Louise, Lethal Papa, all the moderators, Xbox Obi, Dreadpool, as well as Zodiac. Shout out to you, buddy. But yeah, Tim, you got anything to say on this Phil Spencer interview? And what are your thoughts on this new pet ferret?
I think it was a very hard interview. I think that it was, I don't think anybody from another company's taking that interview. I mean, they're asking them about metaverse. They're asking them about all types of weird stuff.
Like, what's some of the weirdest stuff that stood out to you?
just
Activision.
like the
Activision.
questions that they had asked, and like with the Activision, like what do you want Xbox to do? Do you really want them to say, "Oh, I'm not dealing with you because Bobby Kotick is a piece of shit"? They should handle their own business.
So they
And
asked him if they were
Yeah.
still working with Activision, and he
Oh,
basically
yeah,
said,
they asked him that. They asked him a bunch of shit, man.
they
Like,
asked
a
him
lot of
about the
hardcore.
metaverse, and they like what the hell? Like, what is Phil really? I mean, I don't know. I just think that they were, asking certain.
He was
types of
brutally
questions.
honest.
Yeah, he was.
did he say that Kanye's last album was trash?
Kanye's been
Well,
trash for the longest
but
time.
That's super facts.
I just feel it was a very tough interview by the New York Times. They're an outlet that they're asking questions that no game journalist is going to ask.
It's
so.
weird that they're even asking game questions, I guess.
He even
Yeah.
they asked him about like the Activision partnership, and he was like, "Listen, he's like, our we change the way we do deals with them, but on top of that, he's like, we're not gonna corporate shame them out of nowhere because." And he was like, "Xbox's history isn't squeaky clean either." Like, he was just straight up. No, he was freaking
Yeah, he did.
brutally.
Damn.
He was brutally fucking honest, man. I was like, look
Shows
at this.
Phil pushing a grandma down like some steps.
She's sitting there at the store, buys a PS4, kicks her in the shin, walks
He
away.
looks at the camera. Statute of limitations, bitch. Hey, by the way, KY Bob was in the party with us last night. Shout out to him. Yeah, I definitely want to mention KY Bob, and he just laid a super. But Tim, I mean, other than that, man, I want to get kind of your final thoughts, final topic. But I mean, anything you want to say on the success of these systems despite a chip shortage and everything else they're going through?
Well, I think that as it's reported by Z Huge today, they're pretty much saying what we've been saying for 2 months. I mean, I think a lot of people sometimes hear things on the show and they might not think it's coming from a good. I do think they do think it's coming from a good place, but we've been talking about that and the decision that they made, and I kind of felt like it was cool that that they pretty much said that what we've been saying, that the S has been prioritized, and they kind of went with a conscious effort to push the S, and I think that the being that it used less silicon, that kind of saved them, or that kind of gives them a real big wild card in this shortage, because I think what the biggest takeaway that you take from all these numbers is people look at the Xbox Series S as a next generation system. They don't have things like, oh, it's a 1080p machine, or oh, it's not next gen, or it doesn't have any of the things that really kind of hurt the Xbox One.
Yeah, people are
and
just
brought
surprised
that
by
down.
it constantly.
People are like, holy shit, it's $399. Now, like I said, when this thing becomes $200, let's say it's $200 and Indiana Jones comes out, or the games that they have coming out, Halo the Endless comes out. I mean,
there's always a race at the beginning of the generation.
That's going to sell a ton of things. Now, I don't think that there'll be PlayStation, but let's say that PlayStation's at 100 million and Xbox is at 75 million. And considering what Xbox has on the Game Pass side and everything that they're doing with xCloud, that's a very competitive place for Xbox to be. When you look at and compare to last generation, they were getting sold at one point in May of 2014, 8-1 worldwide. 8-1.
Yeah.
So you're not seeing those type of, ratios. You're seeing, PlayStation selling a little bit more, but Xbox is on their heels. If Xbox keeps that going, that's going to be a really successful generation. I don't know if they're going to sell more consoles, but like I said, right now, if they're, say, PlayStation's 18 million, and I don't know if that number is correct, but let's just say Xbox is at 12, and the Xbox is still going to do a year-over-year for physical year, projected to do 12 to 13 million. Xbox could be at 25 million next year, 2023. That's a real big step. I mean,
Tim, I think
Xbox
they had more
One
PS5s at launch, didn't they? Because that silicon is old. They waited for RDNA 2 with the Xboxes. They had to wait longer to start producing. The dev kits weren't out there longer. They weren't as mature as a result. I think they had more PS5s that launched to sell through.
They did.
I mean,
They did.
so it all makes sense, right?
Yeah. So it's all but everything's selling out, and they're still selling out. But the thing is that You're going to a time where Xbox year over year was selling in 2017 7 million, 8 million, 7 million. Now you're now you're in the 12 million stratosphere for a year. If you hit 15 million, that's PS4 numbers. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like the way this is going for the console is absolutely very good for them, and probably they didn't expect it to be this way. At least I didn't expect it to be this way. They're, like I said, if they're in that stratosphere, 13 to 15 million a year for the physical year, that's strong console numbers.
Yeah.
And that's in addition to everything else. PC, Steam, SOT selling 5 million. Xbox is, they're going to start to put up crooked numbers.
Crooked numbers. Anybody else want to chime in on this final topic?
For crooked people.
Hey, Zach, you want to get KY Bob Super Chat while someone else figures out what the fuck they want to say?
Yeah. Show is fire. Missed the days when Colt was here every week. I see that post about PS5 and UE5. Silly, dumbass statement. I don't think anyone will take as much advantage of UE5 as the coalition will. I was into party 2 deals.
Yeah, KY Bob. The lubrication for your ear holes. Check him out on his YouTube channel. But anyways, Bonds, did you have anything to say about Phil Spencer's interview and all the questions and, all that good stuff and whatnot? Or no?
Was this the same interview where he talked about how he wanted to get kind of like a ban list across all platforms, like of people that...
if you ban somebody on Xbox, you should ban them everywhere.
Yeah, they should be banned everywhere. Because he kind of wants a list of some bad players, so that way, like whatever console or platform he's on...
You're saying he's trying to become Judge Dredd here?
Because somebody asked the question about if we were going to talk about it, and the way they worded it, it was like he was banning crossplay. I was like, because they were like, "Are you going to talk about the ban on crossplay or something?" And I was like, "Do you mean the banning of people across all platforms? Because that's very different." But yeah, I get what he's saying. If there's a real piece of shit out there, do you really want to play with him? If he's banned on one platform for being a piece of shit, do you really want him on your platform?
That's like getting banned on YouTube though, and then getting banned on another site you might use. Like, I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, is he talking about banning someone from, like, if he's playing and Water Egg 37's being a real jerkwad?
Yes.
And so Phil blocks Water Egg 37 on Xbox Live, and he's like, if I go play Fall Guys on PS5, I don't want to run into Water Egg 35.
Yes,
but a lot of people run with what he's talking about, that he's saying that you'll report Water Egg 32 or whatever, and then he'll get banned from Xbox Live, and then he'll go to log in at his PS5 and he can't get on PSN because he got reported on Xbox Live. That's what people need to clarify. If he was talking about blocking people from ruining your experience or blocking people from playing on that platform because you're a jerk.
I think he's more saying that he personally would like to block them from his own personal list of players to possibly come into contact with or play. I think that's what it is.
That's what I, listen.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. There was somebody who was completely taking this out of context and saying that, it's going to play in your...
Would you like to name drop?
No, the stupidity. You could easily
rubbing his hands together.
You could easily find out. But, listen, like Fawn said, that's basically what it is. If you're basically calling somebody the N-word and you're on PlayStation Network, let's just say you're calling somebody
something atrocious. Say that, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but let's just say, well, that's pretty bad, and that's something that's really bad.
Yeah, of course.
So if somebody's doing that on another platform, why should they really be allowed on another platform? So, your actions deserve consequences, and I think that's basically where that goes. Like, if you say something absolutely inappropriate and absolutely racial, or you sexually harass somebody, it should go further than just the PlayStation Network. And, I think Phil has been very open about that he doesn't want bullying. He doesn't want that type of stuff, that toxicity online, that, if you're doing it somewhere else and they can be privy to that information. And you were in a game, say that you're cross-play. I do think that they're within their right to say they don't want you on your network because of product behaviors.
I got to say something, because it's real easy for people to say grow thick skin and, oh, who cares? It was way worse in the 360 era, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah,
but
it was
when I
bad.
heard Phil say this quote, I immediately thought, here's Phil, who's a public figure. He's, he heads Xbox, so he's got a lot of people, a lot of eyes on him, and he's probably experienced his own large amount of toxic harassment and toxic behavior. Then he's also helps run a platform where he has to hear about a myriad of really horrible things that people do to other people across the connection. So he's speaking out of frustration for sure, but there are so many of us in here, there's 1,000 people watching this show, over 1,000 people right now. And I would bet that the large majority of us have not had someone who has chronically harassed them, to the point where it just breaks them down. They don't want to get on a platform, or they don't want to connect online, or they don't want to go to school, this sort of thing. It's a really big deal. And Phil's not speaking lightly about, someone who's like, you suck, I'm going to teabag you after I killed you in Halo. Right. He's absolutely not talking about that. When he's talking about somebody who needs to be banned from a platform, it's somebody who's really, I'll use a dealer's word, really atrocious. One of my good friends on Twitter has a user that has 5 different accounts that constantly harasses him with racist comments, really inappropriate stuff, attacks his family, uses all of the accounts, gets suspended for a week, logs into the other one, and continues to do it over and over, and it doesn't end. And Phil sees that type of behavior, and he's like, somebody like that who is chronic.
So what's stopping him from doing that same thing with the system? You get new account, go. It doesn't stop anything.
Yeah.
No, not really though. Let's say if you are on a PlayStation network and you do something, and then you're on an Xbox network and you have, a digital library and everything, that's pretty serious.
That's very serious.
If they're like that, they start a new account with no library attached just to fuck with you.
Well, the reality is that you have mentally ill people that do that stuff.
That's
true. And Phil is probably privy to a lot of information that has been disgusting, and whether it's people leaving messages or just the stuff that goes on, and it's horrible. He really has always been saying that he wants to crack down on that stuff, and I don't think it's if it's all proven and and it's documented, and I do believe that they have features that can do that now.
I've had 3 people legitimately stalk me that I've banned on 5 different platforms. They followed me on Xbox after beating them in Sea of Thieves. They went and followed me on Steam. They followed me on the Epic Game Store, bro, and then followed me on the Ubisoft store, and then even PSN. So I've had 5 or 6 people do that, and it's just
with the way you play Sea of Thieves.
It's not even Sea of Thieves. I was playing. No, well, I mean, yeah, I am toxic. But the way, even I play with a friend who she's really cool, and every single time we play online, she legitimately, I'm not even exaggerating, gets harassed every single time we play a game.
Every time on the mic.
I hate to say it.
She mutes it. She mutes her mic every time and mutes in-game chat every time and just plays with us. And it sucks because once she calls out something, she'll be like, "Oh, left side, watch your flank." People will be like, "Oh, you're a girl," and then that's it. It's over. The game's done. It's toxic. They just shoot her, and it's those people. We ban them. I fucking report them. Screw you. You're a dumbass. You suck. You're just not a good. You're not horrible. A gamer. You're not a good person.
They do that.
If I can ban them, if I can ban them. Yeah, and if you have the same name everywhere, you think you're invincible behind your little controller or keyboard. No, if your name follows you everywhere, those 5 or 6 people that followed me, I would freaking take them out. Bye. 100%. I don't care.
And a lot of these guys always have these monikers, or they have there's this one guy, and I know Colt knows about him, and I'm going to speak on him. Basically, his name is Ocelot, or he goes by Green Giant, or
that guy's a toxic dickhead. But, I blocked him.
This guy has multiple accounts. He harasses people. Any guy that's an Xbox guy, he has them instant notification, and when they put up a video, he downvotes them with 7 accounts. So people are like, I just put a video up and I have 7 dislikes. How is that? It's him. This guy does this chronically. He is not, he is known, been doing this for years. That's the type of mentality and that's the type of person that that you really don't want in the gaming community. You want somebody toxic like that, prohibited to use a service because they cannot act in a normal way. That is not normal behavior. That is not.
Say one short sentence, and I know that people, because I gave my speech about grow thick skin, just block and mute them and move on. Why grow up, that sort of thing. Like here's another thing that you don't think about as users. Like people like that Tim's talking about, they're toxic. They shoo away customers. Somebody like Ubisoft doesn't want someone like that because they will. It's literally like the guy who comes in with boogers all over his shirt, walking to your restaurant, and goes, "What's going on in your restaurant?"
Yeah.
And everyone like gets up and leaves,
100%.
and the restaurant manager is gonna get angry.
Have you really seen a guy with boogers all over?
No,
his
but
shirt?
that's a
what
great
I do.
analogy.
I do that every
though.
Friday. I wore a
As a person that's worked in a restaurant his entire life, there are people that just walk in and just start shit. Like they'll just be
Smell.
like drunk and smell and ask for free food and harass customers, and it instantly kills everything in the restaurant. Like people are
so
like,
you have to
You
remember.
have your kid there. I know me personally. I'm not going to fight the guy because I'm with my daughter. I'm going to take my daughter to say goodbye. I'm leaving the restaurant.
Yeah,
So you have to remember that whether it's like Ubisoft or Activision or Xbox Game or Xbox Live or PSN, like you have to remember it's like this is someone's place of business. It's their restaurant. It's where they're making their money. And when someone comes in and starts scaring off most girls that are on a mic and they're just like, I can't play Apex Legends anymore. It's too toxic. Everyone, it's just like it's known thing. Like then Respawn gets upset because we're losing demographics, we're losing money because of that behavior, and so they want to strike that type of person.
Funny enough, two games had that happen. Was Overwatch had a very toxic community. They were voted one of the most toxic, and then funny enough, Blizzard was trying to crack down on it. Lol. And then freaking League of Legends had a very toxic community, and they revamped their whole thing where it's insane if you're toxic. They have a whole reporting system. They'll watch games. They have a whole team dedicated to it if they play toxically or say something toxic, and you'll get banned. And because they lost a lot of customers, and they were like, "Screw this! We're not going to have these people in our community."
Yeah,
you're not a gamer. You're just a freaking jackass that has nothing else to do.
I think a lot of people don't realize that all of these platforms are not a free speech platform. None of them.
Well,
exactly.
Bill Spencer said
And
that.
these are all private companies. They can do what they want. Like if they don't want you to say certain things, you're gone. That's just it. Then there's nothing you can do about it. So just keep that in mind. Yes, there is free speech out there. You can say what you want into the ether, but on some of these platforms, you can't. You just can't.
When you're in a chat room with 6-7 people playing a game, and you're interacting, and somebody is being inappropriate to you, that's different than like a social media platform where, say, I'm tweeting, you can mute me, that's easy. But now you're in a game, you're in an environment where you're actually with that person. You should have a certain level of respect for others. And I've seen it all the time. I've been in chats, not just overall. A girl comes in, and dudes, that I don't know, or that they just jumped in the party or whatever, they act weird. They act different. And maybe it's because
you're a good girl.
It's true though. And I hate to say it, like if you're a girl and you're not feel welcomed or you feel strange, you might not want to log on to the system again. And that's why I think that I think Phil's kind of right in a way of taking a hardline stance on some of these people that do this stuff. Like they just don't get it. You have to have a certain level of respect and for each other, and you just just because you're in a chat doesn't mean that you can freedom of speech, like Fonzarelli said, meaning that you could be discriminatory or say some horrible things to people or just make them feel uncomfortable. Like don't like people hitting on a girl or saying things like, oh, let me take you on a date. Like bro, like have a little respect. That's I think that's where this is all going, and it's
Let me take
definitely
you on a date.
it's true though,
Let's
but
get and see
it's
if these
definitely
go on
still
a
a
date.
problem though, and we know in the 360 days, you heard of all the stuff, you've seen all the
gosh, it was
stuff,
bad.
but it's still there. I hate to say it, and
Just don't be a
when it-
fuckface. That's what we're trying to
Yeah.
say. It's common sense, and
right.
I like it.
it's not really about toxicity to me. It's about respect, I guess, a little bit. Me 6 years ago, I wouldn't
lot
give a
of it,
shit,
yeah.
but at the end of the day, we all kind of, as an adult, I guess, okay, I won't hit on this person to be a fucking weirdo in the bush. Obviously, it's common sense. We don't need to preach to you about it. Just don't be a fuckface. And I think I don't think banning somebody across all platforms is gonna fix it. I think a lot of this is gonna provide users with tools to avoid those people. But I get what they're doing with their messaging. I get it. At the end of the day,
Yeah, I like that.
you
know
I
what?
don't- I
That's the
don't think
thing.
it's-
I like the fact what he said about having sort of a database, so you can see a list of players that are just jackasses or people you don't want to play with across all platforms. That would be a good thing.
You just click on it, anybody can see it, like the fuck face list, and
yeah,
everyone
and
just
just
Green
block.
Giant, Wolf
Like how to catch
Wolfgang,
a
and
predator.
Green Giant's on there, and
Catch a predator.
How to catch a predator.com. All right, well, there's Water Egg 38. He's an asshole.
there's Green Giant. Oh yeah, all right. Who else? Yeah, I mean,
Giffer.
yeah, I don't know. It is what a true giffer. You say that name, but I don't even know who that is. But hey, Zach, you want to get some of these super chats and we can kind of wrap it up? Hey, by the way, shout out to everybody watch tonight, guys. Almost 1,300 at one point. Hit that like button if you haven't, and subscribe. All that good stuff. We're gonna give you some outro information. Thanks for supporting the show. This is Jedi Fallen Order running on Series X. Play the game. It's phenomenal. Jedi Fallen Order. It's in Game Pass because it's an EA Play. And again, phenomenal show. Great topics. Best chat in the universe. Just want to kind of give those guys another shout out. But yeah, go ahead, Zucker.
Kirby Luis says, but what happens if they do that and I go around making fake accounts and name of people I don't like in order to get them banned on other platforms? It's not attached to the name. It's attached to the ID you create your account with. It's all database
IP.
entry. It's not just the IP. It's the account. Every account has like a certain data entry in it. That's how databases work. It's not the name. If they make it by the name, then they're not programming it correctly. That's
some
going to be fucked
That's
up.
some PSN shit.
That'd be messed up.
That's some PSN shit. We got Flapjack Juice. Bullies can kiss it. Yes, they can.
Facts.
Danny
Kiss
Passion.
what?
I solved it by not chatting while I game. That's it. So you just don't chat at all in games while
He's
you
like,
play
I
it.
just
Yeah, a
get
lot
on
of people do that.
PlayStation. Fuck it. No one talks on there.
Yeah, nobody
Lonely.
talks. Yeah.
Hargeet Shani, harassment's illegal, but the sheer number of jerks online makes it difficult to go after all of them. Have any of you tried to report it to the authorities, not just the platform? I mean, no. The police are gonna be
What
like,
if-
this
what
guy
if
in
they're
WoW
in-
is
The police
harassing
come in
me."
your house and
Yeah,
fucking
but-
baton your TV.
And what if they're
yeah.
in another country? There's nothing you can do about
Yeah.
it, really.
Can't do that. Nano
Can't do
Polymath.
that.
It's in
support,
Batman
it's a
after
great
his
idea.
ass. Execute.
You cannot do that.
Oh,
I
shit.
support it's a great idea, but to be industry safe, it would take sharing of gamers' databases to be workable. Would PlayStation be willing to do that?
I don't know.
Probably
I think
not.
that's the thing. If it's a collaborative thing and they can get on the board with everyone, you could definitely do it. You could also even though some people can mask their IP, but you could further identify a person through their IP and stuff like that. I mean, it's just trying to combat something that's always probably going to be there. But I do think that if you could strike a little fear in people and actually enforce something, it's a good thing. There's always going to be the case where somebody unfairly gets banned, and that opens up another whole discussion of, in my opinion, of stuff. I do think that if you've been banned, you should have access to all your games. Just maybe the multiplayer aspect can be taken away. I think it's crazy that you can buy a game digitally and then get banned, and then you can't play that game in a single player state. To me, that is absolutely unfair and criminal in a way. So there's a lot of things.
It can come in stages, right? Like, so CSGO does it in stages. If you leave a game or if you're toxic, you get a 30-minute ban. If you do it again in a certain
Ubisoft
time
does the
frame, Yeah, you get a 2-hour ban. If you do it again after that, you get a 1-day ban, and if you do it again after that, you get a 7-day ban on that game. And then, not to mention, if you do it again after that, they are in potential to ban your entire Steam account. Like that's what they do. They do it. They give you multiple like chances. Like, hey, it's not just one ban and gone. People are thinking like it's just a hammer falling. No, you have to do it multiple times to get banned, at least in certain aspects. So we have KY Bob. Sorry, let me get. There's a bunch of them. We have KY Bob. These horrible people, multiple accounts. Why put forth so much effort to just be a nasty human being? Go outside, play games. You can't play games outside. You can't do that.
He means do one, then deal.
Yeah. Dark CMF, they should put those people in a special matchmaking database so they can only get to play with each other. Dude, there'd be a YouTube
They're
account
actually
in
doing
5
that.
seconds.
They're actually doing that, I think. They let fuckfaces play with each other.
Lobby.
That is funny.
like a
Holy
prison.
crap.
Hargeet again, he says, freedom of speech does not allow for direct abusive and harassment. It's intended to allow you to speak your truth fully for that, but not crapping on people.
This motherfucker has a white wig on right now. Like George
Like
Washington.
Looking like the Quaker
The old
Oats
George
man.
Washington.
It looking
curly
like
wig.
that oatmeal. The dude
Yeah,
on
the
the
oatmeal
oatmeal
guy.
bun. Yeah.
The Quaker Oats Hargeet. Yeah.
Hey, can you
Yeah.
build me a wood stove?
I'm down.
What are you talking about?
Hey, go ahead, Zucker. Listen over.
I don't see anymore.
All right. Well, there's Nano Polymath.
Oh, Oh, my bad. I just came up. Nano Polymath. The only game I chatted in was Forza Horizon 5 with Dealer, but I beat him in a race and haven't had any issues with chat or invites since.
Yeah, right.
Damn.
If anything, Nano, you wouldn't be getting invited because you was that footage is on this show. It lives in infamy. The day Nano had to wreck to get up front. No, shout out to Nano. Seriously,
It didn't
big supporter.
happen.
He does timestamps, by the way, guys. Nano does timestamps every show. He has fun with them, and that's awesome. But shout out to Nano. Shout out to every single person that bothered to spend your time here, guys. We appreciate you. Hit the like button, and of course, tell a buddy or two about the show. You guys are awesome, and I think I can say it for all of us. I mean it. Colt, tell people where they can find you and what have you been playing, buddy. Thanks for coming on the show and sitting here for 2 hours and talking on the phone.
Talking on the phone with my friends.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's thank you
had
for
a
having
win.
me on, and thank you for being on my show last night. I was gonna say last week. It feels like forever. Yeah, we had a good time, and it's good to be back with the RDX boys. I miss D-Batch, and
Be here next week.
I don't know. We had fun.
Yeah.
You can find me at Cold Eastwood just about everywhere, except TikTok. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really having fun. I've been playing. Well, I kind of had to do a little bit of holdover. I'm playing Mass Effect Trilogy again. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna commit to that, but I'm having a good time either way.
Somebody
Playing a
send
little
Colt a
Formula
copy
One
of
with
Resident
Dealer.
Evil 8. Somebody send Colt a
Yeah.
copy of Resident Evil 8
No,
so he can finish
it's on
that
sale.
game.
I saw it. It's on sale. I saw it in the store. I'll pick it up. But yeah,
I forced Colt to
yeah, I'm
pick
like
up
halfway
F1.
through the game.
I forced Colt to pick up
Yeah.
F1. I'm like, come on, Colt, let's play. He's like, yeah. No, but he sound like Jim Ryan.
Oh, sure. I've been playing some Formula One.
A lot of fun, though.
Pebbles. Yeah, good. Yeah, good time. But thanks for having me on. And shout out to the chat. And like, I recognize every single person on there, so it's good to see him again.
Definitely. Always good to have you, buddy. Fonzarelli, tell people where they can find you, buddy, and what have you been playing?
They can find me here on Fonzarelli Gaming on YouTube and on TikTok as well. Fonzarelli Gaming. Find me there, doing some dances and stuff. I do my thing.
What's up?
Also, yeah, you can find me on Twitter at jfonzarelli. And I'm playing Little Nightmares right now. I started that game Saturday night. It's pretty cool.
It
Pretty
is,
cool.
ain't it?
I haven't played it before.
How far are you?
It's creepy as hell, I'll tell you that.
It is.
Holy crap.
It is. Little
Yeah,
Nightmares
it's real
2 is
creepy.
Series X and S enhanced, man. It looks pretty good. But I know you're on the first one, but they're both really, really good games.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, let us know if you played Little Nightmares 2. I actually like them quite a bit. Tim Dog, tell people where they can find you, buddy, and what have you been playing?
You can find me on Twitter, xCloudTimDog. And I've been, after finishing Halo, I took a little bit of a break, but I just started up Forza Horizon 5. I want to finish that, or at least do everything. Really good game. And yeah, really good podcast. Colt, awesome to have you. Good old days. And yeah, today was a really good podcast and good stuff that we talked on. Some deep stuff, but some positive stuff on the side with the sales and stuff. But yeah, good podcast.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the blue one in the Ashtray Gaming. Shout out to those guys as well. Zalker, tell people where they can find you, buddy, and where at have you been playing?
What's up, everybody? You guys find me on Twitter, Zalker87, YouTube, Zalker87. I've been playing those Lego Marvel games. They went on sale. Me and my girl have been co-oping through them. We beat the first one, and we're on the second, like, Marvel superhero thing, too, or whatever. A lot of fun. I beat Dying Light last weekend with 3 of my buddies. The ending sucked because it took co-op away from you. Didn't like that. Me and my buddy were sitting there like just fucking irritated. And then I've been playing, funny enough, is Serious Sam. That game, Serious Sam 4, it's on Game Pass. It's so derpy. I like it. I'm having fun with it.
You're such
it's
a fuckface.
Bro, it's such a trash game. I'm sitting there going like, it's like watching reality TV. You know it's trash.
One of these days, I'm going to ask you what you've been playing. You're going to tell me a big fucking game, a AAA game that you've played.
I'm playing Dying Light 2, a big fucking game.
It's Dying Light 2? You already got it? Is it
You trail your voice off.
500 hours?
I'm about
500 hours, Soccer.
500 hours in that bitch. No, I just. Oh, and Horizon Zero
Oh, you were
Dawn.
playing the Lego games, bro.
He was playing Horizon Zero
for the
Dawn.
first
There we
time.
go.
I was playing a lot of.
Oh.
I've been playing a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I got like 20 something hours in it. I'm trying to beat it before the second one comes out. It's a lot of fun, man. I'm having that combat is fucking good. They did a really good job of that. The world's beautiful. So it's a really damn good game, man. They gotta. I hope the second one's better and they expand on it because you could just see the potential there. So yeah, I'm playing a lot of games and obviously Rocket League and multiplayer games with my buddies. So because I'm a crackhead with Rocket League. Yeah. But yeah, thanks, chat, for coming. I won't be here next week. I am going to be on vacation. I leave Thursday, so I won't be here next week. I miss you guys, but it's gonna be a much needed break, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. So,
We'll have Rand in your place.
I'm sorry, Chad. Don't show up. Okay.
Oh,
I'm joking.
Yeah. We will have Rand here. I forgot you were leaving. Even though you told me
Yeah.
yesterday.
I know. You even said to me, you're like, please remind me on Monday because I'm gonna forget. I was like, I got you, dog. Don't worry."
Oh shit. But yeah, shout out to the chat, man. I beat the story mode for F1. It's called Breaking Point. There's cutscenes and everything in it. I was kind of surprised by that. It's not too bad. I'm playing the career mode with a few different people right now. The 2-player co-op career. I really hope Forza has one of those. I've also been playing Fallen Order. As you see, World War Z, I ran through and played another couple hours of that the other night, as well as, God, I'd have to go and look. I mean, there's so much stuff you can jump into, jump out of.
We played Chivalry, didn't we?
We played a little bit of Chivalry, but not enough for me to mention, maybe an hour. I don't know. I mean, it's so many games. And I did beat Psychonauts 2. I think I mentioned that as well. That game's a blast, but you guys, let us know your thoughts. Thanks for supporting the show. It's because of you that we're even able to do this and put the show on for almost 5 years now. And not all of us leave like fuck faces, before the outros, but some of us do, and those guys appreciate you too.
See ya.
Again, let us know your thoughts. Hit the like button if you haven't. Tell a buddy about the show. Support these guys,
What?
and we will see you guys. Huh?
They both left. I didn't even hear him drop out.
I know they just
anyway.
farted and left. But I think that's just par for the course. But hey, again, chat. Let us know your thoughts. Tell a buddy. Go play some Xbox. We're out.
Later, everybody.
Ah!
See ya.